live from the Coliseum and the MGM Grand Hotel in Bay or whatever the fuck we're saying. I don't even know anymore. Alright, I'm Alex R. Wagner. This is No News is News. We're going into it, guys, because today is the Daddy Trump day of all the speeches. Is he gonna tear down Georgia? Is he gonna say that Ossoff was fakely elected? Fakely elected. I think that's the word he's gonna use. You let me know in the comments section below. Let's get into it, though. Did the Kelce odds go down for Mr. Ossoff with the speculation of him being an illegal person in here? And no, he's still at 10%. Wild, guys. Wild. All right, let's look into the poll today. Who will be president in 2028? 876 days until election. Oh, no, 46, right? 46, 44, 47, 40 what? 45? Huh? Chat, what is it? Chat, what is it? Chat, how many days until the U.S. 2028 election? Opening up the livers. All right. It is 845 days. 845 days until election. We got Mr. JD Vance sitting pretty with 49 wins. We have Marco Rubio in second place with 2 wins on our poll today. Gavin Newsom, third place still, 18 wins. And Mr. John Ossoff, potential criminal. And John Ossoff, potential criminal. Especially for today's episode, guys. We're going to go into the press briefing to figure out exactly what's going on here. But first, before we get into that, let's get into the Mo news of the day. What's going on with the news of the day? The only way to get your news, the independent news source, Mr. Mo News. All right. Okay, 21 hours ago, Pete Hegseth announces Wednesday that he is requiring every service member over 30 to have their testosterone tested annually. He posted a video on X captioning the High T Department of War. He tells soldiers that if they're found to have low testosterone, they might be recommended testosterone replacement therapy, but that it won't be mandatory. Pete Hegseth says annual testosterone tests for all service members over 30 could help identify hormone deficiencies that may affect energy, strength, and readiness, with supporters arguing some cases of low testosterone go undiagnosed and are treatable. But the policy is raising questions because routine testosterone screening is not recommended by major medical organizations for people without symptoms. What's up, comrades? What's up, Two Gun Cohen? Welcome to the chat. It's going to be a long one tonight. We're going to go into some JD Vance and potentially Mr. Beast interviews if we have time. But the second that Daddy Trump goes live with his primetime address, potentially saying that John Ossoff is an illegal senator, we will be going live with it. All right. Critics say there's little evidence universal screenings would improve military readiness, while supporters argue it could identify overlooked health issues. 21 hours ago, a lot of high T talk in the administration. RFK recently talked about how high Trump's testosterone levels are. This is from the podcast Stephen Miller's wife, Katie. 20 hours ago, update on the Thomas Massie proposed annual $3 billion in aid to Israel. He was the only Republican to support the measure. However, in a major break from the past, and nearly half of Dems supported the measure. Several noted that they didn't like the potential impact of the measure, but wanted to still send a message to Netanyahu. They just want to get themselves well, I just wanted to be a panderer, even though I'm collecting the money. Okay, guys. Netanyahu, knowing that it wouldn't pass, So that's the only reason that the Democrats even voted for it, was because they knew it wouldn't pass and they thought it would send a message to Netanyahu. Yeah, it sends the message that if it wouldn't have passed, that's the only reason you'd vote for it. 86-47 now. All right, well, that's the 24-hour timeout. Somebody just wanted to get spanked today. Spank Daddy. Say hi. Trump 2028, Trump 2024. Okay, Nigeria, Niagara Falls has a wildfire going on. That's pretty fucking crazy. Toronto over the last 24 hours, wildfires exposed millions in Midwest, Northeast, and dangerous smoke. 20 hours ago, The Hill, Trump CDC director nominee, was also Capitol Hill Wednesday. Dr. Erica Schwartz, President Trump's nominee to lead the CDC, was grilled by senators Wednesday over whether she would stand up to Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy on vaccine policy, repeatedly insisting she would never betray the science. A physician and retired Coast Guard Rear Admiral Schwartz previously served as Deputy Surgeon General during Trump's first term and has overseen military health care. She also holds degrees in biomedical engineering, medicine, public health, and law. If confirmed, she would become the first black woman to lead the CDC in nearly 80-year history. Ooh, 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 ooh. And it's coming from the president, coming from Daddy Trump. Another one bites the dust on your wokeness, y'all. Schwartz is expected to win confirmation after becoming Trump's third nominee in 18 months, lead the agency after the withdrawal of David Weldon and the brief tenure of Susan Morales. The CDC has lacked stable leadership for months, with several senior officials departing amid disputes over vaccine policy and agency direction. Yeah, it's all about the vaccines because that's who's funding the department, the vaccine train, y'all. All centralized systems are failing. Ilhan Omar for president. Rubio is a warmonger. Omar needs to be deported for fraud. Whoa, y'all getting into it. E. Jean Carroll in the 2028. I say it again. I appreciate you, David, saying it. She does have that $5 million. She may have $88 million by 2028. Does she run for president with her $88 million? You know, I mean, I'm just saying, like, she could. Would I? That's what I would do with it. 20 hours ago, here's a bit from the hearings. 20 hours ago, from Task and Purpose, back to the testosterone issue. The Department of Veterans Affairs has its own clinical protocols for evaluating and managing low testosterone in patients, including the use of testosterone replacement therapy. The issue got the attention of lawmakers during the Biden administration in 2024 when a measure was introduced in the National Defense Bill that asked the Secretary of Defense to brief members of Congress and the military available treatments for low testosterone. Special operations veterans and experts who work in the high-risk military professions said that it was an issue worth more investment and research. A number of special operations veterans have established nonprofits and non-traditional treatment plans to help former service members who deal with the latency in physical and mental health issues linked to low testosterone levels. Like sleep deprivation, emotional numbing, and loss of motivation, the term operator syndrome was even coined to describe the host of similar health issues that special operators deal with as a result of low testosterone. All right. 10 hours ago, CBS News, Trump plans to primetime speech tonight on 2020 election allegations. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Will John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock be pulled off of the Senate? Is he going to wage war on the legislator? Is he going to bring it to the judiciary with his investigation saying, hey, I think these senators are illegal as fuck. And what's crazy, guys, is that our number 4 on Kelchi, the number 2 Democrat predicted to be the next president of the United States, is currently John Ossoff, who Daddy Trump may say illegally was elected in Georgia in 2020 later tonight. That's the big speculation that people are saying, is that he may pull that one out. President Trump is planning a primetime address Thursday that will use findings from re-examined government files to argue that the country's election infrastructure has vulnerabilities, including voting machines. The president could use the address to press his long-standing allegations of foreign interference in the 2020 election, the result of which he has never accepted. Part of the President Trump's speech Thursday night is expected to touch on previously unreported alleged Chinese and Venezuelan meddling in the U.S. elections. If that's what this is, that's bullshit. We don't need a prime timer for that. We need a prime timer to get rid of these Georgia senators. That's what I want. I want off with their heads. I want that one. I want Daddy Trump going up there going, we're bringing this to Amy Coney Barrett, and she's going to bring down the hammer. John Ossoff's going off the fuck. We're done with this shit. That's what I want. I don't want some My Pillow guy bullshit. So if that's what he's going to do tonight, I swear to fucking God, man. Venezuela meddling in the U.S. elections. According to the sources familiar with the matter, one component allegations that alleges that China compromised U.S. voters' data and evidence the CIA knew about the action in 2020 and didn't share the information with Trump during his first term. Wow. 9 hours ago, millennial moment behind the Napoleon Dynamite. Okay. 9 hours ago, over in Britain, Nigel, leader of the right-wing Reform UK party, recently resigned his seat in Parliament after an ethics investigation into alleged undeclared gifts, saying voters should decide his future. Britain's two major parties have refused to run against him, leaving his highest-profile challenger as Count Binface? Count Binface? Bro. Yo, the UK is fried. The number one, Count Binface. That's the person running for prime minister. Count Binface. What the fuck? A satirical candidate. Oh, shit. Leaving the highest profile challenger as Count Binface, a satirical candidate whose campaign wearing a trash can in his head has become a fixture of British elections. Holy shit, guys. So is Binface going to get elected in Britain? Is that where we're at now? Holy shit. Binface, the creation of the scriptwriter and comedian John Harvey, has been putting himself forward in British elections for years. He is part of a long tradition in the UK of satirical candidates who stand against prominent politicians as a way of drawing attention to their absurdities, or simply as a political stunt. Binface, whose character and costume has become more elaborate over time, has become the best known of the entire genre. This is crazy, guys. I want Binface in there. Get Binface into Parliament. Get Binface into Parliament. JD Vance went on the Joe Rogan podcast for 3 hours. We will be covering that if Daddy Trump don't come up first. They're going to cover that. We'll cover that later. Leavitt returns for her first briefing. That's the first thing that we're going to have up today. Vance also talked about Iran. He reiterated that Trump would have launched the war on Iran without Israel, but also talked about his frustrations that some in the Israeli government tried to kill the Iranian deal. He discussed about how Qatar and other countries also tried to shift U.S. policy and public opinion. On this day in history was the day that the CEO and the lady were caught on the camera on the Jumbotron. That was today. 5 hours ago, flash flooding has intensified across southern Texas on Thursday after pounding rain causes rivers to surge and forced a scramble of evacuations and more water rescues. Rivers have rapidly surged across hill country for the past 24 hours after intense rainfall. Some rivers, like the Frio, have had multiple crevasses into major flooding stages. That's literally where I live right now, guys. I'm at Travis at the lake, but I'm on high ground on my fucking apartment building. Thank fucking God. And they got giant hills of leverage on me. But if I was on the first floor, I saw the first floor flooding last night. Yikes. Their backyard was fucking tanked. This is hitting some of the same Texas areas where devastating July 4th floods in 2025 left more than 130 people dead, including 25 girls and 2 counselors at Camp Mystic. Nicknamed Flash Flood Alley, the steep slopes, shallow soils, and exposed bedrock of Texas hill country repel heavy rain, and instead of soaking it into the ground, it's true. It's all just gravel and rocks here, but it's like dirt and like mud. So it's like fucking Mudslide Central, y'all. That means that the narrow creeks and rivers take the brunt of the water all at once, transforming them into from a trickle into a massive, fast-moving torrents of water. All right. 4 hours ago, CBS News, White House teleprompter operators allegedly made nearly $100,000 on Kelce bets on Trump's speeches. Whoa, crazy. A White House teleprompt operator allegedly made nearly $100,000 on bets placed on Kelce related to President Trump's State of the Union and other speeches. CBS News has confirmed the identity of the federal employee, Gabriel Perez, who has early access to Trump's speeches. A spokesperson for Kelce said that the company investigated Perez's trading activities after its surveillance systems detected trades that didn't adhere to the typical buying and selling patterns. Kelce froze Perez's account, locking almost all of the profits he made on the platform, the spokesperson confirmed. After completing its investigation, Kelce referred the case to the Custody Futures Trade Commissions, the federal agency that regulates prediction markets. All right, 4 hours ago, People. Today's show, intruder breaks into studio looking for Al Roker, confronts Craig Melvin, and yells racial slur. A man was detained after breaking into the Today Show's studio in New York City on Thursday, July 16th. At about 9 a.m., a man made his way into the NBC studio at Rockefeller Plaza and confronted co-host Craig Melvin, yelling racial slurs, a source tells People. No one was harmed. A man allegedly asked for Al Roker when he managed to slip past his studio security. Studio security. There's no such thing as studio security. I used to work in no, there's no. The man allegedly asked for Al Roker when he managed to slip past studio security. A law enforcement source confirms to People that the man was detained on Thursday at the morning show's studio. Roker 71, Melvin 47, and their co-host continued on with the live broadcast after the incident. 3 hours ago, NYC Mayor Mondani joins inmates at Rikers Island to watch a World Cup match this week in the infamous prison complex. 3 hours ago, speaking of keeping things lighthearted, this clip of Chuck Schumer apparently going viral. Don't really care. Chuck Schumer going viral. Yeah, right. 3 hours ago, TMZ recently hired reporters on Capitol Hill can always depend on them for the questions that other reporters won't ask. Facts. And that's it. That's all our Mo news for the day. Let's get into it. First up, the press conference. Let's get into the press conference, guys. Make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm for the poll of the day. Tell us who you're voting for today, and let's get it started. Caroline Lovett back after her fucking baby. Oh, what's going on here? Damn it, I hate when that happens. Sorry, guys. Did not mean to do that. Window capture. Application. Boom. There we go. All right, here we go.
Our elections, and we encourage every American to tune in. On Friday, the president will travel to New York City to attend a FIFA reception at Trump Tower, followed by his attendance on Sunday at the FIFA World Cup between Spain and Argentina. His attendance will cap what has been the most watched, most secure, and most successful World Cup in America.
Bro, and we getting Tom Cruise too? It's going to be motherfucking American as fuck. We're like, we don't give a shit. Fuck you, Argentina. We're making this American.
Turning now to the economy. Tuesday's CPI report confirmed what President Trump predicted.
Money?
Prices are falling, and this administration's economic policies are working. I still don't have my monies, though. Inflation dropped 0.4% last month, beating expectations and marking the largest monthly decline in more than 6 years. Prices fell, including for gasoline, electricity, non-prescription drugs, car insurance, medical care services, and hotels, delivering relief for American working families. We also saw real weekly earnings rise in the month of June. For private sector workers, real wages have increased by roughly $1,000 since President Trump took office, after falling nearly $3,000 during the previous administration. This is real progress made possible by the president's pro-growth economic agenda. There is still more work to do, no doubt, which is why President Trump remains laser focused on lowering costs and raising wages for working families across the country. Just last week, Walmart and Sam's Club announced they will be lowering...
Okay, anyone that votes for Newsom would be 100% brain dead, but think about the people that are still putting actual money on John Ossoff. Like, there are people on Kelchi, okay? There's 10% on Kelchi, okay? 10%. It went up 0.4. There's a potential that they're going to say that he's an illegal senator tonight, okay? That the President of the United States is going to make a primetime announcement about this man being an illegal senator that was illegally elected to Georgia. There's a potential for that. He has 10% odds right now. I know you want to say, like, Gavin Newsom, that's crazy, right? But 10% odds, and what's the market cap on this? $51 million, guys? That means that there is, let's see how much money is on John Ossoff to be the President of the United States, as there's speculation that he could potentially be an illegal senator right now. We have 51 million? 51 million. 51 million divided by, I don't know, times 0.1. 10%. $5 million. There's $5 million cash in the United States currently in prediction markets on John Ossoff, who may be an illegal senator right now.
Prices on thousands
We're in a topsy-turvy world, people.
Shoppers can expect meaningful savings on groceries.
Optics don't matter anymore.
Outdoor living products, toys, apparel, and other everyday staples. As President Trump said, Walmart answered his call and stepped up in a big way, and we commend them for that. We hope other major retailers will follow the lead of this patriotic American company. While we're on the subject of helping working families get ahead, I want to remind everyone that the Trump accounts are now officially live. To date, and this is a new stat from the Council of Economic Advisors this morning, more than 6.5 million American children have been signed up for accounts so far, including my 2 kids, who I signed up during my maternity leave. There are a few things I want to make clear about this massively beneficial program that has the potential to literally transform
if you're not signing your
the
kid up,
financial
you're putting your
future
kid into
of this
fucking
country.
wealth gap.
First, any child under the age of 18 is eligible to have a Trump account opened in his or her name. This is a free investment savings account that costs nothing to open. Second, thanks to President Trump, every child born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028 will receive a $1,000 seed deposit from the United States Treasury. Third, parents, guardians, relatives, and friends can contribute up to $5,000 per year combined for each child. Employers can also contribute up to $2,500 per year on a tax-favored basis, counting toward the annual cap. The president believes there is no better investment than in America's children. Government projections show that a child whose family maxes out contributions could see the account grow to nearly $300,000 by the time the child turns 18. This is, I think we can all agree, an enormously powerful head start toward the American dream. These funds can be used for college, starting a business, or purchasing a home. This is truly a transformational, nonpartisan program. So I encourage everyone listening with a child to establish a Trump account today for your child and tell everyone you know with children to do the same. The app is also incredibly inviting and easy to use for parents at home. Finally,
better than Obamacare. Gotta say that. That rollout was a fucking fumble, wasn't it?
Customs and Border Protection confirmed that for the 14th.
John Ossoff is not an illegal senator. That is a joke. He has been in office for 5.5 years. Now Trump is going to raise an allegation in order to try to impair his reelection. What BS. We don't know if that's what he's going to do. That's what I hope he's going to do, because if you're going to address the public in prime time, you better give us some Raphael Warnock, John Ossoff, like jargon with Georgia. It better be some real interesting conspiracy theory. If he goes out there and he fucking My Pillow guys, if he goes out there like Mike Landau and starts talking like the My Pillow guy about Venezuela and China and the 2020 election and blah, 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 I'm going to lose my mind. Just please do the right thing and at least give us the interesting story, which is 2 senators potentially being illegally elected in Georgia. Speculation is speculation. I mean, I'm just like, does he have the balls to actually go out there and do that? Or is he going to give us a primetime address, and his primetime address is going to be him being the MyPillow guy, just complaining about Venezuela and China and how they had this data and didn't give it to him? I don't care about that, but I would love to see the other. I would love to see him go out there and say, there are 2 Democrats that were illegally elected 4 years ago. Like, dude, that would be...
This administration has released 0 illegal aliens into the United States.
Hit that like button, please.
Again,
Absolutely. Thank you,
for
2 Gun Cohen.
14th straight month, not a single illegal criminal alien has been entered into our country, released into our country.
He has no right thing. Where have you been? I don't know what you're referring to there. 2026.
By
Let me
this
know.
administration.
What are you
Illegal
talking about?
crossings in June remained at historic lows, and southwest border apprehensions are down 94% compared to the same period under the Biden administration. These numbers speak for themselves. Thanks to President Trump's strong leadership and unwavering commitment to law enforcement, America has the
Why do you want him to go out there and lie for the dumb ones? Because he's doing something on election fraud anyway. I'm entertainment first, okay? I'm an American citizen that just wants to be entertained. I have to listen to the president speak in prime time about election interference in 2020. I would like him to say that there's illegal senators rather than him say the Chinese and Joe Biden and the Venezuelans and the Chinese and Joe Biden. It's just boring. It's much more entertaining to be like, let's have some balls. If you're really going to say it, then let's just say it. If you don't have the balls to say it, Daddy Trump, then zip your fucking lip and go back to fucking bed.
Secure border.
That's kind of how I feel about the
in
whole
our
thing.
nation's history. The administration continues working to reverse the previous
right
influx
thing.
of millions of illegal.
I just mean the more entertaining thing, and by right thing, I kind of mean what he's insinuating. Is he going to go out there and he's just going to insinuate that China stole the election for Joe Biden, which is boring and bullshit? Or is he going to go out there and actually give us something where he goes, illegal senators in Georgia, and here's exactly what it was, and here's the proof, and we're going to be prosecuting them next week? Like, that's a reason to do a primetime speech. Going out there and giving us speculative bullshit about how Joe Biden hid China from you, no one fucking cares. No one cares. But if you have some kind of evidence against these senators, which is the other speculation of the speech tonight, by all means, we all care. We all care if you have something. Please show us.
Our country by the Biden administration and our law enforcement professionals.
No interference in the 2020 election? I don't know about
arresting
that.
criminal illegal aliens across the country.
What I will say is there was a lot of movement towards the pandemic by the Democratic institution in order to stifle the public displays like rallies, etc., of Donald Trump at the time. And you could say that as well as drive-through voting in like Texas and other states mattered somehow, or was illegal. Did it matter? I don't know if it mattered, but it does bug me that we all walk out I'm living in Manhattan and we're banging pots and pans like the fucking Knicks won the finals on a Saturday 5 days after the election, all because the Associated Press decided to just say it. Like, there was no actual thing. Like, we just waited for 5 days and then the Associated Press just said it for us. I don't like that. I don't like that. Did he actually win? Did he lose? Probably lost. Did they run some shenanigans? Yes, they ran some shenanigans. I think that some of the shenanigans are okay. You can continue to ramp up COVID policy with your policymakers in 2020 in order to stifle the speech publicly of this candidate you're going against. That's political strategy. What's not political strategy is allowing people to vote while they drive through their car. That's not political strategy. That's illegal. And the Democrats always, I like the Hillary Clinton Democrat. I don't like the new Democrat, because the new Democrat does the Hillary Clinton, like, evil, deep, dark House of Cards shit, But then they turn around and they act like, well, you can just keep breaking the law as well. It's like, no, you have to House of Cards it. You have to still play the rules.
Including those convicted of the most heinous and violent crimes.
Only fraud for the dumb ones?
Alone,
I don't know, man. I just feel like they shouldn't have done it, and then there wouldn't have been speculation.
Convicted of second-degree murder in California.
Can't say that. You know?
A Dominican national convicted of aggravated manslaughter in New Jersey. A Saudi national convicted of indecent liberties with a child in North Carolina.
The 11,780 votes. Okay. All right. Okay. We're going to bring it up today. Let's bring it up today. All right. So this was their Watergate moment. The Democratic institution, the DNC, thinks that everything plays out exactly like Graham Plattner. That if you just have Jake Tapper talk to some lady on Sunday morning news, that you can just have Bernie Sanders and all of the powers that be just not give them money or not vote them in and just cancel the person out of the product. And that's what they were trying to do with that phone call. We all know how Donald Trump speaks. And so I would say that it's not about whether he was breaking the law or not. That entire phone call and the recording of it were them trying to hold something over on him like they did with Watergate and go, can we fucking get this guy? Look what you're doing. The reality of it is that we're done with the cancellations. Show us actual proof. Show us proof that Brad Raffensperger was actually influenced by that phone call, and we get something. But we don't. We get some crazy black lady with nappy black hair just yelling and screaming until we find out that she's actually like fucking her best friend or some shit. Like, it was literally a reality TV show on BET down there in Georgia with that case.
Mexican national convicted of continuous sexual abuse.
You're a Trump supporter? No.
California.
I'm a 2012 Ron Paul, 2016 Jill Stein, 2020 Joe Jorgensen, 2024 Democrats decide that a third party isn't allowed on the debate stage, rewriting the rules of the debate. Third party endorsement by RFK to Donald Trump. Vote Donald Trump first time ever.
Yeah. A Nicaraguan national convicted of second-degree child molestation in Rhode Island.
Hey-o.
A Mexican national convicted of lewd acts with a child under 14 with force in California. These are egregious crimes, and again, I think we can all agree that none of you would want these individuals living in your communities, and you have this administration to thank that they are on their way back home. The American people delivered a decisive...
But that's actually how, see, you're laughing at my Jill Stein. That's what I mean. Like, people don't understand. Like, I'm just here. You want to know exactly how I end up voting in an election, like when it comes down to especially a presidential election, because I do not like the team politics. I look up locally everyone that's on the presidential election ballot for my ballot the day before. And I go and I search their super PACs and their YouTube channels for exactly their ads, every ad that they've placed. I'm a filmmaker. And then I watch those ads and I see who is actually promising something. And usually most of the major political parties, Republican, Democrat, their whole channel is just full of why the other guy is bad. And so then that's how I end up with like somebody like Jill Stein, is that Jill Stein in 2016 was the only person running. You know, even the Libertarian candidate, which was Gary Johnson, even he was running on, well, I'm not Trump and I'm not Hillary. Everyone was, I'm not this and I'm not that. And I'm just watching the ads before I go to vote, and your ads are supposed to tell me what you're going to do. And there was only one candidate in 2020, Joe Jorgensen. And there was only one candidate in 2016 that ever ran any kind of political material for me that explained to me what they were going to do when they got into office. Everything else was, especially from the DNC and the RNC, has been no. Except for 2024. In 2024, you had the Maha movement. You had a independent movement inside of the Republican Party that was promised alongside. So while you had all the bashing ads saying, oh, we need to stop the DNC and Harris, and then you had all the Harris ads that were like, we need to stop Donald Trump and the evilness of him, there was still Trump ads that were saying, Also, if you are for RFK, we're going to try to fix healthcare and stuff. Oh, you're going to actually try to do something? All right, well, then I guess I'll vote for you. It's not that hard, but you have to actually tell me what you're going to do. Otherwise, how the fuck can I vote for you? It just
mandate to arrest and deport these dangerous criminals, and President Trump is wholeheartedly committed to delivering on that mandate every day. He will never waver in his duty to defend our homeland and protect the American people, and he has proven without a shadow of doubt that the
Trump basically begged the Libertarian Party for their vote, and he deserved it because of that. Kamala Harris has the same opportunities to go there and actually be a human being and beg for it. He wanted to win. I'm also like America first, where I'm like, I live in the world of Rocky. I live in the world of like American like excellence of like, if you want it, if you're fighting for it, then you're the winner. And there was no doubt about it that Donald Trump wanted it more and fought harder than Joe Biden was. So it really did confuse me and confuses a lot of people because, again, if you believe in the institutionality of success, which is to embody it yourself and believe in it yourself, how in the fuck do you end up with the result that Joe Biden wins that election? The man is spray painting circles and showing up for only 5 minutes.
Chaos and the lawlessness that we saw every single day.
Gotta throw out the solutions fast. Every time I wait until 24 hours beforehand, and then I just sit down and I look at everybody that's on the ballot and I search their name on YouTube and I watch their ads. And the Republicans and Democrats until 2024, when they added a independent into their fold, both of those institutions only ran ads specifically saying how the other side was bad, but not explaining their policies or their agenda or anything else in between.
Was a choice, and it is a choice this president has chosen not to make. While this work is far from finished, the border is secure, and deportations will continue. With that, I'll take your questions today. I look forward to doing so. I know
here come the questions.
Two people in our new media seats today, Rachel Bade and Ben Black. Rachel, why don't you kick us off? Ben will give you a question, and then we'll get to the rest of all of you. Thanks, Rachel.
Oh, wow. Who are
Thanks,
these
Caroline.
people?
Welcome back to the briefing room, and congrats on your baby.
Thank you.
2 questions,
Sure.
if I may. The first one, a fun one for your first day back. You now have 2 babies under 2 years old.
I do.
As someone who has a 4-year-old, I can only imagine how little you are sleeping right now.
I just don't.
What is your one tip or
Here's what's the problem is like if you're going to give the candy to the people that are like independent media and being like, we have 2 new independent media seats here today and they're going to ask the questions first. You've been gone for 2 months almost. You're given the opportunity as independent media to ask any question and you start asking questions like you're in front of fucking Vladimir Putin. Like, what is this like kissing ass shit? I don't like it. I really don't like it. Like, you don't have to be villainous. You don't have to be the New York Times and spin some shit on her. But you could ask a real fucking question. It's kind of gross to be given that seat and then you don't ask. Here we go. Here's my question. If they pushed this on me, they probably would have asked me what I was going to ask firsthand. Which I would have said, I'll ask her about her pregnancy. Then they push it to me. And if I'm sitting in that independent media seat because they've given it to me as an independent creator, the question I ask is simply, tonight at the briefing, could you explain, is this going to be election fraud of Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff? Or is this going to be general election fraud thoughts that are speculative at best and involve foreign nations? And if so, why should we, the American public, tune in and listen to what Donald Trump has to say in prime time anyway? If what he's saying is stuff that we've already heard, why show up? So I would have the second for the follow-up, but the first question I would ask would simply be, is tonight's speech about John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock? Response, don't really matter. And then I say, okay, if this is just speculative information, then why would the American public want to tune into Donald Trump's speech? 2 independent media questions that are not disrespectful at all, but actually kind of push back. And I got to thank Joe Rogan as well this week, because Joe Rogan did push back in this 3-hour with JD Vance, which is why we're going to sit down and deep dive into it after this press conference until we wait for the actual speech to occur. Because it's a fascinating interview because you can see that they're two friends and he's trying to be polite. He's not trying to do the New York Times gotcha liberal bullshit thing. He's just there, but he also has to ask about the Epstein files. He also has to ask about 2028. He also has to ask about Iran. You have to push back, and you've just been invited to the press room for the first time, and you ask her about her pregnancy?
Secret to women who want to have it all.
I guess women should just go the fuck home then. They don't deserve to have
well,
jobs,
thanks
do
for
they?
the question, Rachel, and it is
If
really
this
good
is
to be
the
back
kind
with
of
all
fucking
you.
questions they
I
ask
don't
as
think there is a
journalists.
secret. You just have to show up every day and
Wow,
keep going.
what a
And it really
smiley
does take a
fucking
village.
question. Congratulations. Me and you can go to dinner later tonight now.
Take the
Like,
opportunity
you're not
to
a
shout out to
journalist
my
now.
husband, who's home with
You're
our
not a
babies
journalist
right
now.
I look forward to
You've
returning
just
home
given
later,
that up.
to be with them, but it's
Opportunity.
challenging. But for me, I view this as more than job. I view this as public service on behalf of a president who I firmly believe in everything this administration is doing and really creating a better country
Joe Rogan didn't
for my
need
children and their future.
follow question he didn't swallow. That's a tongue twister. Joe Rogan is such a fool for the dumb ones.
I'm very grateful
know,
for
man.
that. Blessed to
He's
both be
trying right
working in-
now. I think he's trying because the McGregor fight, like, they all just stole a bunch of money from us. So now he's like, all right, get JD Vance on here. All right, get Mr. Beast on here. I got to start pushing back as well.
in this job, but also to have
You got to give him credit. He is the biggest podcast in the world. Ain't nobody ever even come close.
So thanks for the question.
Babies are the best. Okay.
And when they do come close, they walk away. Okay? So there is what's his name with the black podcast? I forgot what his name is now. God damn it. Hold on, let me pull a video up of him and I'll be able to see it. Damn it. Dude, he like drops like 1,000 videos on my page every day and now I can't find one. Club Shay Shay. So Club Shay Shay had a potential with that Cat Williams episode to become the new Joe Rogan. But they didn't start interviewing politicians and taking risks and going towards it. No. He walked away from it. He went into black culture and comedy and whatever else. Here's another one. Theo Vaughn potentially could have taken over for Joe Rogan. But Theo Vaughn has actually pushed himself into politics more and into the fold of, trying to help people in philanthropy the same way as like Mr. Beast. So it's like, for him, it's like no disrespect, but yeah, that he had the chance too there. The only other one was Amy Poehler, who was handed it by the Emmy Commission. Like, given the pedestal of, like, better than Joe Rogan, we can all go listen to this. And she chooses to take her time to interview people that she went on SNL with and just have bubblegum conversations about comedy. It's fine. The podcast is lighthearted and beautiful. Same thing with Call Her Daddy. She's now married. She's now trying to do interviews with the Love Island people and stuff. They all have their niche, but they all had their chance to be Joe Rogan. And ain't nobody taken the fucking opportunity yet. So you gotta give the man credit that he's still staying there. He's not saying it's a comedy and MMA podcast only. He's still going for it. He's still taking the big interviews. And nobody else is. And other people have been given that opportunity before.
Question about tonight. There are a lot of Republicans in this.
Oh, fuck! She's going to do it. She said, question about tonight. Thank you. Wow, she started with she's better than me. There's a reason she's getting that independent seat.
Town who very much support the SAVE Act and want to make sure, our elections are upheld, election integrity, top priority for them. But some of them are concerned that tonight's primetime address might focus on, elections of the past, relitigating them, rather than voter concerns of today. I'm wondering, can you tell us if the president tonight...
They always forget their meds, Michael. They always forget their meds. It's me and Michael till the end. Michael, a potential MAGA hardcore, leaning, Trumper supporter on a daily, but Michael, clearly independent like me, can take a breath and pull himself out. Just gotta pull yourself out sometimes, guys.
Is going to talk about the economy. You just talked a lot about the economy and what we're seeing there. And what does the White House say to Republicans who are worried that election issues like this could actually turn off swing voters?
Well, a few things. I would encourage everyone to tune in tonight. I've seen a lot of reporting and frankly misreporting about what the president will say. I think...
Goddamn, so we don't know. That's what she's getting at. We don't fucking know. This leads me to believe that I'm onto it, that it really is going to be a John Ossoff bomb. That would be fucking insane. That would be insane. If he goes out there and has the balls to say that, like, I mean, he has to have some proof then, right? But that would be insane.
The American people...
And most of the reporting today has been about it being speculation over Venezuelan and Chinese interference and not letting him know in 2020. So if she's saying that most of the reporting is off and she's not lying, she has lied before or misled us before. But if she's not, and we really truly don't know what's going on here, it most likely is. It's the Georgia election interference.
Will be relieved to hear
there is a
what
potential open case there in the FBI.
United States and his commitment to transparency.
Kash Patel has been running a case for about 45 days on this so far.
I think all Republicans and Democrats should recognize this should be a nonpartisan issue. If we don't have safe and secure elections in our country, we cannot have a country. It is it's
from a right-wing blog, not a credible source. Let's see. Let's look into this because this is kind of the 2020 shit we used to get into. Let's get into chat real quick. John Ossoff report on election interference. Only recent news. I think Trump might do his speech tonight on John being illegally elected. Let's see what's going on. It should pull up the source material of like wherever this conspiracy came from. There's been a flurry of reports over the last 48 hours that President Trump is speculating to deliver a primetime speech tonight focused on the 2020 election and what the White House has described as newly declassified election-related information. Multiple outlets have reported that Georgia and specifically Senator John Ossoff could be a major focus. John Ossoff has publicly criticized the planned speech, saying he expects Trump to receive claims about the 2020 election. He has argued that Georgia's election results were confirmed through... So he's already defending himself before Trump even says that he's guilty? I don't know. That's confirmed through the recounts of audits and accused Trump of trying to relegate the election. Reports say that Trump may challenge the legitimacy of Georgia's 2020 election, which was also the election cycle that sent Ossoff to the Senate in the January 2021 runoff. Some reports say Trump could criticize Ossoff's election as illegitimate or improperly influenced, though until the speech is delivered, those reports remain based on previews and anonymous sources rather than Trump's actual remarks. Ossoff has also used the reports to raise campaign funds and argue that Trump is returning to the election issue ahead of 2026 midterms. At this point, no official report has been released. Okay, so let's see. Where did the blog post or article about the interference come from? I'm getting liberal sources that are saying it's debunked. What was debunked or not credible? Let's see. All those are fury of reports at worst responding to the Signal right-wing blog report. Ossoff slapped that dementia Adidel bitch before he had a chance to get the lies out. Duh. I mean, again, like, I only saw one Ossoff speech so far, and the man looks like he's ready to be president. Like, way more than Newsom. So I do like the guy. I think he has the flavor. He's basically like a white Obama that is like more authentic. Like Tellerico in Texas, he does that like Obama pause bullshit with the cadence of his speeches and shit, and it's stupid. But Ossoff has like a authenticity to what he's saying. The reports that are circulating appear to come from previews of President Trump's planned speech, not from a newly released public report providing election interference. There are important distinction between the three differences of the catalog. Rumors and previews of tonight's speeches from AP long debunked election claims could be part of Trump's address later tonight, Associated Press. The declassified intelligence documents via Wikipedia, and the debunked claims via what? Associated Press. And again, who put fucking Joe Biden in the White House? The Associated Press. So I really don't want to hear about the Associated Press telling me about election interference and the confirmation that it's fake.
Of our democracy.
They're the people that are on the other side. Like, guys.
Tonight. And in addition, at the very same time,
you have to live in reality, okay? Trump is going to say everyone stole every election, which means the Associated Press is going to say no one ever stole any election. It's our job on this channel to distinguish the reality. Not listen to one over the other, okay?
of course, he is working on all of these.
That's why you're here,
issues
please.
That the American people have at home. I just read to you the latest inflation numbers are looking good. The best report in 6 years. The president,
is it called Senate Proof or
Republicans
nothing?
and Democrats and all
Man,
Americans have this president
I
to
never
thank
saw
for
the
largest
Ossoff hype
tax
until
cuts
now.
in American
I mean,
history,
he might be
which
put in the
every
spotlight.
Democrat on
That's the
Capitol
other thing
Hill
too. Is Trump going to just walk over it while also continuing that case against him? Are they going to say, there was interference in the 2020 Georgia election, but I'm not going to call out the names of the senators because if I do, I bring them onto the national Trump stage? Because if Ossoff's name is said by Donald Trump in a primetime speech tonight, regardless of whether it's a bad or good thing, and Trump knows all press is good press, Ossoff goes up in the Kelce poll tomorrow. So, is it in Trump's best interest to actually deliberately declare it, or is he going to vaguely say some shit about China and Venezuela and then have his minions like Kash Patel and his cross-eyed lover like go and prosecute these people under the rug? Like, you get all of the shit from Fox News, but he's not going to actually say it.
Voted against.
Because it would be, it might be a bad move to actually say Ossoff's name out loud to all of his masters. Because it essentially puts that person front and center. And it also isn't a good look for Donald Trump that the two competing Democratic candidates that are potential leads for the 2028 presidential election are both under investigation by him. It makes him look just like Joe Biden, to be honest. Like, you're going after Newsom, now you're going to potentially even call out Ossoff. It's looking a lot like Joe Biden in early 2021. It's looking a lot like the same shit.
But obviously, safe and secure elections are a true tenet of our constitutional
Trump
republic,
rules the
and
world?
the president will be speaking about that
You
tonight.
might think he does now.
Thank you. And Ben, please.
Hey, so I'm from England. I've been following the World Cup all around, absolutely loving it. Unfortunately, we got knocked out last night, so I'd love to ask you a
sorry for
favor.
the loss. Tough day for you today.
Yeah, it's all good though. But I want to know, so all these football fans coming to America, absolutely having a great time. I've had an amazing time. What do you want these football fans to take away from their time in America?
I don't know what you're talking about, kid.
Well, I'm so
We'll
glad
see.
you enjoyed
We'll see
your
what he
experience
does.
here in our country, and sorry for the loss. We look forward to the final match on Sunday, and I know the president looks forward to attending, but
What
I think
did
the
Biden
world's...
do in 2021? Oh my God, do we really got to do this, guys? I don't even need to say it. He literally went into an ex-president's home and raided it.
saw that
While having his own files illegally in his own garage, guys.
Sports in the world, and
Wake the fuck up.
We are
Like,
working people.
bro, box of files behind the Corvette as he's having the FBI raid Mar-a-Lago. What the fuck did Joe Biden do in 2020? Shut up. Roger Stone raiding his home at 5:30 in the morning. Vilifying old fucking hags from the Nixon administration. Biden is doing exactly what Trump is doing to Newsom and Ossoff now, especially if he calls off Ossoff tonight. And I don't know that I like it any better.
Country on the planet.
Can't
And
make this
I
shit
know
up.
I love
Facts.
seeing the videos from foreigners from around the world who have traveled to the United
Can't
States.
stand the
and have been
division in this
quite
country.
surprised about how
Oh my
well-
God, lunatic libertarian I'm appreciating your comments tonight, and I'm going insane here. I only got Michael so far that's like having a little sanity with me. The rest of us are all fucking TDS'd or MAGA'd out. So welcome to the Mod Club, the Lunatic Libertarian. You can now put people in timeout anywhere from 60 seconds to 24 hours. We put people in a 24-hour timeout if they ever say the word 86 or they threaten somebody's life or something. This is a political show. None of that. That's the only rule. Other than that, free speech for all. Do whatever. You can also unhide comments. Usually it's when somebody calls somebody a pedophile. I don't fucking care. We're all here having fun. Let's keep it that way. And if somebody is annoying you, just put them in timeout. You can put them in timeout as long as you need to. But don't ban anybody. We let them all watch in silence.
Enough credit from the international media around the world, but we encourage everyone to come and experience America for themselves.
Roger
so
that.
Thanks for being here.
I'm over it. Start the war.
And
Let's
safe
see who
travels.
wins.
You're welcome. Garrett.
Welcome back.
Good to
You have
see
to be smarter than that. JFC, your mother's teaching certificate is buried.
Elections passed.
You found your way in to find your way out.
Elections upcoming.
All right, now time for the real questions, guys.
Dozens of recounts,
Maybe.
lawsuits, audits. 2024 election widely believed to be safe and secure. There's not really any.
Like, this is what I mean, is they preface their questions with, there's no proof of election fraud. So why are you doing this? Why are you asking the question then? You give your own answer and opinion before you give the question. It's this swafty fucking MSM media bullshit. It's bringing us all down, people. It's nonsense. Have a little fucking respect. He's doing a primetime speech. Ask what it's about. Continually, like, reiterating, it's not. Why is he doing this? There's no proof.
Question about that. A lot of people look at
Because it was
this.
too big to rig.
Well, I think a lot of people look at this
There's a
and
massive
wonder.
amount of votes for this president. That's why he's in the Oval Office right now.
No one disputes that. And there were a significant amount of votes for Joe Biden, who won in 2020. I mean, the question is, why is the president
Right, but there's a real fucking interesting answer to your question, you fucking journalist prick. And that fucking answer is, why is the Associated Press sending out mass headlines right now debunking claims of everything going on that he might potentially say tonight, so that half of my fucking audience in my chat that's out there in the fucking Democrat land thinks all of this is credible and there's nothing speculative at all, and then you go in here and you ask a question with the prefacing the question being like, there's nothing wrong, so why are you asking the question? It's all just bullshit. It's all just bullshit. The fact that the election wasn't called on the night of the election is enough to speculate the election on a presidential election. Period. 21st century. Done. If India can do it, we can do it. Fuck off with your California need to count the vote through the mail 7 days a week. Shut up. Shut up. Common sense is reigning now, sir.
able to let this...
It's raining down on your fucking forehead.
I think part of the problem is that the media has refused to acknowledge that tens of millions of Americans across the country share the concerns of this president about the sanctity of our elections. And your premise of your question...
And now they're just making it so that you have to like him. It's like, again, you preface your question with, like, the answer that it's, like, she's even answering it the same way as I would. Like, what the fuck are you even asking?
President unable to let this go.
Well, first of all, Garrett, I think part of the problem is that the media has refused to acknowledge that tens of millions of Americans across the country share the concerns of this president about the sanctity of our elections. And your premise of your question, you're jumping ahead to a conclusion in this speech before even hearing it yourself. I think
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy. It's fucking crazy to do this. Like, if you're telling the truth, if you all aren't in on some conspiracy theory to protect whatever happened, then why do you have to continually start your questioning with, there's no proof at all, so why are you doing this? Why not just ask the fucking question? What's the speech about? What are we talking about? What proof do you have? What is coming forward? What do you think this will do to the public when they hear it? Instead, it's, this is all bullshit, so why are you doing it? It sounds to me like you were in on it. And the fact that the Associated Press is the people blasting out onto my chatbots, onto my TDSers, onto the Democratic allies, all of this nonsense that there's no speculation before the speech is said, before the information is public, and they're the same people that 5 days after the election declared that Joe Biden was the winner. You're only furthering the cause of the revolt of January 6th. You're only furthering the cause of the people that are upset at election interference. Like, you must ask the question and stop answering it before you ask it. Or therefore you don't want the answer. Which, again, makes me have to be on his side.
That everyone should tune in tonight, including the people in this room, and you should report.
Nothing's coming forward. That's the problem. Yes, there is something coming forward. He is doing a primetime speech. He has been investigating with the FBI. Everything that we're hearing is speculation. Why is the Associated Press the same people that put Joe Biden in the White House 5 days after the fucking election and said, oh, it's Associated Press, they're just certified, they're the best. They're not going to do anything wrong. And now they're literally putting out fact checks before the speech about the speech. So they don't say facts. So there we go. So the people that told us that he won the election don't say facts because they're already speculating on what the facts are of something they haven't even seen yet. Therefore, dismissing their credibility and opening up the floodgate of, if the Associated Press isn't credible to the 2020 election, then Joe Biden cannot be certified as the credible victor of that election. Because the entire credibility of Joe Biden's win of the election is down to the Associated Press declaring him the victor that Saturday. And Mike Pence saying, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Speech and the findings that he is going to reveal in this speech with a little bit of honesty and a little bit of integrity.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, you are fact-checking and dismissing something before you even hear it. And we're supposed to believe that you said the right thing 5.5 years ago? That you were being honest when you told us that Joe Biden had won that election and that the count was real? Now you want us to believe that, but at the same time, that same organization is fact-checking something that they can't even hear until we all hear it in an hour or two. Insane.
Because it will shock you if you have an honest eye listening to the president tonight, and everything he is saying will be backed by facts and by evidence that will be provided this evening.
And again, and until he comes and he doesn't say facts, until he comes and he does the speech, you, the fact-checking association of the Associated Press, should not be speculating what he's saying if you are the credible institution that declared Joe Biden the 2020 victor in the election. Shut the fuck up and wait for the information to come out tonight. This is crazy. They're showing their own face.
And again, Garrett, I think all Americans, Democrat, Republican, should agree that we are the greatest country in the history of the world. We should have the safest and most secure elections in the history of the world. And what the president will be speaking about tonight will show you that perhaps that is not the case, and we need to make some adjustments moving forward, including the Save America.
That's a heavy one. All right, let's hit the bomb. Let's hit the bomb. The poll is up. We got 2 in our runoff. Oh man. Flood zone, guys. I'm getting the flooders. It's raining deep here in the hill countries of Texas. Thank God I'm on the top of the hill in the second story. Otherwise, I would have been on it. All right, guys, let's go into our second hour of the poll of the day. It's going to be the runoff between Mr. JD Vance and Mr. Gavin Newsom, who will be president in 2028. 845 days until election. All right, we got who was leading that one? Mr. JD Vance was. JD Vance was leading it, and he's got 49 wins. And then we got Mr. Gavin Newsom, and he's got 18 wins. All right, guys, the runoff starts now. Get your vote in, everybody. All right, let's get back to it. The press conference at the White House.
America Act, as Rachel pointed out, is a key
Will more little girls
legislative
die
priority
of flooding
for this
because of
president
Doge
on
cuts? Or hear me out. Is it the Jewish rain clouds? Is it the Jewish rain clouds?
Capitol Hill. And he
Is
wants
it
to
the
see
seed
all
raining?
Senators and members of Congress voting in favor of the safe.
The government should end all spending. Newsom might be in jail by that time. That's the scary part, though, is that, again, like the way that they raided Donald Trump's home, the way that they put him up in court in New York, all of this shit over speculation of real estate investment, all this bullshit. Now you're literally going after Gavin Newsom and also potentially John Ossoff. You're going after multiple opponents that happen to be leading in the polls against you as the political adversary. Tell me that it's different, but it looks the same. It smells the same. It's the same bullshit.
America Act, because it's crucially important as we move forward. Aisha.
Hi, Caroline. Welcome back. And
Thank you.
I'm assuming the pink is for your baby girl.
You know, I didn't think that, but I guess it is now. Thank you.
We've talked.
All right, guys. I gotta take a piss real quick. I'll be back in about 2 minutes.
The other question is, who is running the teleprompter tonight after this report that the other guy is now under investigation for making money off of reading the president's speech?
Obviously, I'm aware of the report. The president is too. I spoke with him about it. He believes it's deeply unfortunate and frankly a disgrace. And the individual that was cited in that report is complying with the CFTC but has been put on paid administrative leave. So there will be a teleprompter operator tonight, of course, but it will not be the one, unfortunately, in that story.
One more on Iran.
Whoa. Why are you following up without asking the question? Why are you getting paid leave when you fucking stealing money from the White House?
Within their system that we know beyond a shadow of a doubt who are manipulating and trying to change American public opinion to keep the war going on indefinitely. Does the president agree with that statement?
I think the president would certainly agree that, yes, foreign countries certainly do try to persuade American public opinion. There's no doubt about that. I think it's just a basic fact. Ed.
Good to see you, Caroline. Following up on the teleprompter and then one on tonight's speech, what steps is the White House taking to ensure something like that doesn't happen again?
Well, the White House has extremely strict ethical guidelines with respect to issues like this. And as I just told you, this individual will no longer be here. He'll be on paid administrative leave. I'm sorry, without pay. The administrative leave is unpaid, to be very clear. That was a decision by the president. So I think that speaks for itself.
On the concerns about the election, will the president accept the results of November's election?
Look, Ed, you should tune into the president's speech tonight before you jump ahead to conclusions about what's actually in the speech. Again, I've seen a lot of reporting and misreporting about what the president will say. We hope CBS will take the speech and all Americans should take it.
This is crazy. Like they're showing their face on this because they're trying to fight and dismiss election fraud claims before the claims are made. Your job is to ask questions. Your job is not to frame the answer before you ask the question. This is insane.
Trump account. First, following the birthright citizenship.
Unreal.
You're concerned that babies that are born to illegal immigrants here in the United States are not excluded from these accounts, and also, since the $1,000 per child from the Treasury seeds these accounts, can you assuage concerns from those who feel this is wealth redistribution?
I would certainly not describe it as that. As you know, this was an incredible private-public partnership. We had incredibly
Unequal wealth distribution. Anyone can have access to it. Any child under 18. Any employer can put in $2,500 tax deductible into it annually. It is inherent. What was it? wage gap bias or something? Just shut up, you woke retard.
Americans,
What?
Michael Dell, and many others
What?
who contributed to the fund for the Trump accounts. So that money will then be passed along to America's children, which I think is a great thing that
How do you even draw that
all
conclusion?
Americans from all political persuasions can agree upon. With respect to your question on birthright citizenship, I think the president has made his view and the White House has made our view on this case quite clear. We're going to continue
Rather
to move
Rubio than
forward
Vance?
to,
Well,
work
Rubio
with
lost in
Congress,
the
hopefully
opening.
in the future to remedy this
he does both
problem
sides.
in our country and to ensure that we cannot have this scam continuing where you have foreigners from all around the world traveling to our country to give birth to babies who are then given the greatest
Woke
privilege
retard
on the
needs
face
over
of
your
the
head.
planet, American citizenship.
No, it
That's
wasn't
not
over
how
my
our
head,
founding
bro.
fathers intended this country
Maybe
to
he is a
work or to
warmonger.
operate, and the administration is committed to finding
Maybe. I don't
solutions
know about
to
that one.
remedy that.
They have access to the Trump accounts.
I think Rubio's the most
those that
diplomatic
children
person.
of
Lindsey Graham was the
illegal aliens?
monger.
That's not something I've discussed directly with the president, so I don't want to speak out of turn on that. As you know, Carrie,
Has anyone
all
received their Trump
American
phone yet?
citizens
There's a few reviews of it. It's just an Android phone.
and children are
Your
able
uncle
to
has
access the
it.
Trump accounts as it stands right now. Sure, go ahead.
Thank you
The
very
guy
much,
with the MAGA hat that
Mark.
bought it at the rally for like $35 and like the stitching's coming off the hat, that's the person that bought the Trump phone.
From Sky News. Can I switch to Iran, please?
The media's bought for paid for.
Uh,
Facts. I mean, they're showing their face on this thing. They're trying to fact check election interference before the claim is made. Like, it's just on your face. You idiots, just idiots on your face. Dude, on your face, you're part of the problem.
20 children dead.
Got to get ahead of it. We got to start fact checking and demanding the fact check before he even says it. What? Huh? So you're inherently biased against him. Okay,
Sky
thanks.
News
Thanks for
investigation
playing.
released today points to all this being a tragic mistake by America, by the US military. So could you explain, please, why the president is repeatedly saying it wasn't America when he hasn't actually, he says also that he hasn't even seen the report?
I can't speak to the Sky News investigation respectfully because I have not read it. All I can speak to is what the president has said as I speak on his behalf, and the investigation continues, and we would defer you to the Department of War for further questions on it.
Do you mind following up, if I may?
Sure.
You're right.
I just want to
My answer's
understand.
not going to change.
I just want to understand why he consistently says it wasn't us, we didn't do this, when all the evidence and indeed the
Okay, what's idiotic is listening to Trump make baseless claims for years and then giving him the benefit of the doubt. Again, the problem is that every one of you people says the word baseless when starting the conversation. And that actually makes it way worse, okay? Two, if he goes out here and he does some Mike Lindell, My Pillow Guy bullshit about China and Venezuela, I'm going to lose my shit. So stay with us, guys, because I will lose my goddamn shit if he comes out here and says some vague bullshit. But if he has the balls, you know, it's the same kind of thing as ICE. It's like, if you have the balls to actually do it, I would really enjoy you saying that these senators are illegally running in the Senate right now, because anybody that's in the Senate is part of the problem. And so I love that fact. But do I want to sit here and listen to a My Pillow Guy speech about the election for a 80th time? Fuck no. So you better be giving me something goddamn juicy, or I'm going to lose my effing shit.
preliminary report, and we've spoken to a military insider who says this was human error.
Well, that's the president's opinion, and at the very same time, he has said the Department of War is
Baseless is
investigating the matter,
factually accurate.
and we would defer you
Baseless
to
is a
them for any
speculative word.
questions with respect.
The word baseless itself cannot be factually accurate. It is a speculative word to describe what something is. Based on what? Your opinion.
Back to the investigation, which obviously has not been
You're hanging on
released
to
yet.
learn of new
I would defer you to
accusations.
them
Of
for
course,
further-
it's going to be Lindell level BS. You really need to grow up here. I'm telling you, 2020.
questions on it.
Stay with me
But
then.
there's
But I'm
been-
telling
I
you,
think the
if you don't
president,
fucking
feels that way because
have some balls, like this is the thing, guys. It's the same thing I said with Joe Biden. It's like, you know, you're gonna have the topless transgender with the pillar flags or whatever. Why was that not like a gay UFC event? Why was that not like the epitome of gay culture? Why do we have to like throw it under the rug and just be like, oh, we just let some topless transgenders in and the Republicans are mad for a day? I want people to start fucking doing what they say they want to do. Meet the people where they're at. If you're the party of the transgenders, then you better dress up as a transgender. I better see you every Thursday doing transgender fire talks on your, Teddy Roosevelt re-inspired transgender podcast. That's what I wanted Joe Biden to be doing. And instead I got boring bullshit. And it's the same thing with this guy. It's like, all I want this guy to do is drop the fucking bombs, kick out the immigrants, and tell everybody that every fucking election's illegal and to make it fair. But instead, it's all speculative bullshit to just reinvest in your fucking politics. And it's like, bullshit, it's boring. Topless transgenders, at least we know your fantasies.
He knows that our military...
It is a fantasy. It is an absolute fantasy of mine to see Joe Biden doing fireside chats as a transgender topless with his fake titties on. If it's not him, it better be John Ossoff. I want people that meet the party where the party is at. I'm sick of party poopers. Too many party poopers
never
on both sides.
Children, unlike the other side of this conflict, Iran, who is well known for killing women and children and innocent people in their country for a very long time. So you should focus on that in your reporting. Danny.
Thanks, Caroline. Welcome back. Another World Cup question. Much as it pains me.
Another World Cup question. Okay, another World Cup question. A lot of people on Instagram are saying that Argentina and Messi are essentially Netanyahu and Israel, and they're saying that the Jews did it. Did the Jews do it? What else have we got to ask about the World Cup?
Spain at the NATO summit last week about their spending.
Bro, leave it to the fucking English guy to create some speculative bullshit about Spain being in the final and there being a trade deal. We don't care.
Does that mean he's going to be supporting Argentina?
Okay.
Danny, it is a really good question, and I'm disappointed in myself for not asking the president before I came out here.
But I mean, it is true that he honestly he is supporting Argentina, which is one reason you should not support Trump. If there's one reason not to support Trump, it's the fact that he is definitely cheering for Argentina, and he's going to be at the game. You can't afford to be at the game. You have to watch Tom Cruise and Jennifer Hudson on your TV. But Daddy Trump is going to be there in real life. He doesn't even have to pay for his ticket. And he's going to cheer for Argentina. If there was ever a reason on a Sunday to hate Donald Trump, it's definitely that one. I think we all collectively on Sunday
but we'll get
will be like,
you're welcome to ask
down with the empire.
Before the game, I'm sure you'll see him, and I'm sure he'll have a fun.
Let's go Spain.
Sure, in the middle. Go ahead. Sure, Jasmine, go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Back on the teleprompter issue, Notice reported earlier this year that Kalshi was inaccessible.
Oh, Trump's going to curse another team? Bro, if Argentina loses, is it because Trump was supporting them?
Journalists here at the White House.
God, I think we all collectively would love that. Like, would it give enough energy to the TDSers to not protest ICE in the streets for like 2 months? If we give you Sunday. If Sunday we all watch the World Cup together, we all are like, okay, Tom Cruise is going to settle down. He's not going to do too much MAGA stuff. He's just going to do some stunts like an American. Jennifer Hudson is going to like sing the national anthem, but like not too liberal, not too Republican, just for everybody. And then Donald Trump gets destroyed. Spain destroys Argentina. And Donald Trump is sitting next to the prime minister or president or whatever, the chainsaw guy of Argentina at the game. And they have to look at each other. And we all collectively as Americans go, ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Because I'm with you on that one.
Back in the West Wing and other parts of the EOB, etc., do they have access to Kalshi and Polymarket on their Wi-Fi?
On our working computers?
Israel
Honestly,
2.0.
I've never tried.
Did you
so
just
I
come
don't
into the
know.
chat?
I'm
Because
happy to go
I just
try
made the
and get you an
speculation
answer.
earlier, a minute ago.
In the back, Reagan. Sure.
I just wonder,
Jasmine, go ahead, and then Reagan go.
Are there any other White House staffers or people within the administration who are suspected of also placing bets on Kalshi?
I love how MAGA dudes assume that I'm a man. We already know MAGA doesn't know what a woman is, though no access makes you a dumb boy. Do you self-identify as anything, or do you identify as everything? That is the question.
other things with some of this privileged information.
As a liberal,
Not
do
to
you
my
identify
knowledge,
as all?
Not that I've been made
or
aware
none?
of. And as you saw, I
Or
think
one,
this
or
played out
yay
exactly
or
how
nay?
it should.
How
County
does that
notified
work?
the CFTC
I picked them
of
to
suspicious
repeat.
activity. They investigated.
Michael, how could you pick the evil empire? How could you pick the evil empire? The FIFA Corporation!
Identified the individual, and he will now no
She's
longer
right.
be working at the White House. So I think that answers all the questions on
Joe
this matter.
Buckley's
Reagan.
sport.
Caroline, I have a question for you on the Save America Act and
Sure.
Senator Graham, and then a quick question on Iran.
Sure.
Trump said in one of his final conversations with the late Senator Graham that he was talking about the Save America Act and that he felt like they were in a great position with it. Do you anticipate that the Senate is going to be more aggressive to push the Save America Act in light of the fact that it was so important to Senator Graham so close to his death?
Sure. Well, since I haven't had the opportunity, let me just express my sincere condolences to Senator Graham's staff and his family. He was beloved by...
See, this is what I mean. Like, when a senator normally dies, everyone comes out for like 2 to 3 weeks and just talks about him anyway. The fact that everybody, and Lindsey Graham was a beloved person on both sides, especially in D.C. The fact that everyone is trying to get over this, again, makes me think that the Senate knows something we don't. Like, they would have been briefed. And he doesn't have any family. And his sister is now the senator in his place. The only family member that could have fought against it. So I'm not saying that something did happen, but Russia could have blown up Lindsey Graham.
By so many here at the White House.
Very
especially
easily, in fact. Think about how we never saw a photo of Osama bin Laden, even though every sitting senator and House member has seen a photo of his executed face on the boat, apparently. The same thing could have happened for Lindsey Graham, somebody that was co-tied to both parties, just so ingrained in the entire culture of D.C.
President, and I know that the news of his sudden passing was just tragic to all of us, especially the president, who considered him a dear friend.
You don't want to start a world war. That would definitely start a world war. Russia blowing up a senator.
To this president, and he wants to see it move forward. I understand that Capitol Hill and Speaker Johnson are moving forward with attaching as many elements of the Save America Act as possible to the budget reconciliation 3.0. Here we go. The president is supportive of that process, and he hopes that Republicans...
Just closet of desperation, but let me reinforce that for you. Again, both of his parents died when he was 22. He was left with a 13-year-old sister, went out to the Air Force, promised her that he would give her his military benefits and never marry, and then said he would take care of her the rest of his life, which he did. He might be Darth Vader to the world, but he might also be the greatest big brother of all time.
Will vote for this important piece of legislation. The budget reconciliation bill not only will address the Save America Act, but also ensure important aid.
I love the fact that all comments the individuals need to label everyone to cope. Trust me, I get a headache daily on this thing.
And our war fighters, which the president supports as well.
I need to make t-shirts that are just like, anybody that says the words TDS or MAGA in a chat, can we just... If I ever get big enough, if I ever get like Asmongold levels where I'm just like the chat is flooded, I'm going to be able to spam filter that out real easily to just the people that matter by just being like, all right, spam filter TDS and spam filter MAGA. If you say either one of those words, you don't have to be in the chat anymore. Right now, it's fun interacting with y'all, but if I ever get big enough, there's enough of you in the chat, we're keeping it to the sane 4%. The 4% that decide the elections in America.
Brian.
Thank you, Caroline. Welcome back.
Thank you.
On the couch.
No grifting here. We're not trying to sell you tickets.
Sure.
This individual has been accused of making trades around the president's speeches for months. I mean, this has been going on since at least earlier this year, maybe even before that.
Yep.
Did the White House counsel have any awareness that this was going on with this individual? And if not,
No.
so if no, then why not? Is there any sort of plan in place to try to figure this out, to see if anyone else is doing this, or to track future people from see if they're making these types of bets in the White House? Any discussions around that?
Look, there are very strict ethical guidelines here at the White House that explicitly state not to do this, and the White House counsel's office makes that clear to all of us who sign up to work in government on behalf
And he got caught. I mean, that's simple enough, really. You really don't need to answer any more than that. There's a rule already on the books that you get kicked off the fucking administration if you ever do this. And guess what? He got caught, and so he got kicked off. Results have consequences. The end. Like, there ain't really much else to that one.
President.
Yeah,
So
she
I
is
think
kind of
there
right
has been
there.
a plan in place.
Look
This
at her
is
eyes
one
rolling
where
back
she
on her head,
violated
like,
the plan, and therefore
why am I
he's
even
paying the
answering this?
consequences for it. I don't know why
Yeah.
there's
Exactly what I just said. There was a issue, and you took a action you weren't supposed to take, and that action had consequences. What else would you like us to do? Cut off his left hand? Like,
further
I
questions
just
on
want to follow on this, but then doesn't that leave open the possibility, even though there are the rules, I mean, there's no disputing there's strict rules on this, but if there are no mechanisms...
Okay, guys, do you not see your own fucking... Oh my God. So these people are speculating that the man in the White House that was betting through the teleprompter, that there's no way to protect that moving forward, even though there's a rule on the books and the man was arrested for doing so. But this same guy, the same liberal media, the same MSM, would literally say to him the exact opposite about election integrity. The exact opposite. Because they would imply, well, there's a rule, and if you break the rule when you double vote, then you end up in prison. And people got caught, and so those people that got caught have consequences, and the result is that actions have consequences. That's what Democrats say about elections, about election interference. And now this same guy is creating some sort of metaphor about betting inside of the White House. Same exact thing on the other side. So to Trump and his allies, if you want election integrity, maybe you should treat gambling in the White House with integrity. And to the reporter asking this question, I ask you, maybe check yourself at the door with your thoughts on election integrity. Wow. People really can't see their own fucking faces, can they?
Mechanisms in place, and then I'm not saying that there should and should not be, but if there are none in place to try to track this happening inside the White House and inside the executive branch of the government, doesn't that leave open a possibility for this to keep happening or happening again, and these result people making bets like...
Kind of like an election. Kind of like when you don't add new laws into an election when people did interfere, then more people can do the same thing again. And the Democrats say, yeah, but we caught him. And watch what she's going to say. She's going to go, yeah, but we caught him. Fuck, going insane here.
this inside the administration.
Again, there are very strict ethical requirements required by all staffers and officials here at the White House. And if they are violated, people will pay consequences for that. As you
we already have rules in place, and if they break those rules, then we'll catch them. You didn't catch them this time, though. Yeah, but there's rules in place, and we'll catch them next time. Kind of like election integrity. It's the same exact thing that you want the other side of the aisle to change their opinion on. So let's all just pause here at 4:30 before Donald Trump even goes on the stage. And if the press secretary and this journalist can just agree that fundamentally they're both whining about the same shit, but expecting a different result, we can just fucking move on and have actual election integrity.
You're seeing with this case. Libby. Thank you.
I have a question about Senator McConnell, but first on Iran. President Trump has now greenlit strikes on Iran for nearly every day this week. Do you
Not enough freedom, too much freedom?
White House
Exactly.
describe negotiations
Always
more
gauging it
as
on us?
standstill or essentially completely over?
Well, I've spoken with the president about this as recently as an hour ago. Iran very much...
Go to a Democrat video and no Republicans are watching. Come to a Republican video and the lefts are crying.
continues to talk to the United States of America and express...
Who cares about aisles? So dumb. It's all theater, you fools. That's a good one too. Solid. Appreciate both of you in the chat. Welcome to the chat.
Want to
Slow
make a
down, my
deal
brother.
with
Let
us
some
because
folks
they
catch
are
up.
suffering.
Sometimes you gotta smack a bitch and choke a bitch. Or some rappers. Democrats are the only ones playing games.
Devastating blows.
They're both playing the
on
same
behalf of
game
our
right
United
now.
States military.
Same game with a different result. She's like, we don't need to create new rules about betting markets in the White House. We caught the guy based on the rules that we already have. And the Democrats are literally saying the same thing about election interference. We already have rules on the books, and we already caught the people that did it wrong. But how are you going to fix it in the future? We already have a rule on the book.
The reason, and this is important for the American
Nobody
people to understand,
cares.
the reason
Nobody really
for the recent
cares.
strikes over
That's
the course
the
of the
thing.
last several days is because Iran violated the memorandum of understanding that we struck with them. Specifically, in the memorandum
Speaker
of
of the House games
understanding
all
that they
silly.
signed, they were not to fire on commercial vessels moving through the Strait of Hormuz. And unfortunately,
They
they
did.
have made the
That's a
tragic
pretty
decision
easy
for
one.
them.
They're like, wait, why did you break that peace deal? Because they blew up ships after they wrote on the peace deal that they wouldn't blow up ships.
To do that. President Trump is not going to sit by
Fucking
and allow
Iranians,
these
bro.
active...
Only Joe Biden would be like, well, but they did the deal, though. but they did the deal, though.
Without ensuring Iran pays consequences for that, and that's what we are witnessing right now.
Talk to him about this within the last hour. I mean, does he essentially seem fed up with these negotiations? And can you explain why the American people should think that a deal with Iran would even be worthwhile at this point, given the fact that they broke it already?
Well, look at how bad they are behaving. It just proves the president's initial point for launching Operation Epic Fury in the first place. Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon. That's why he launched Operation Epic Fury. They have suffered devastating blows to their military and their economy as a result. The president is always open and willing to diplomacy. He is the peace through strength president after all. After Operation Epic Fury, the conclusion of it, we did move forward into a diplomatic phase, if you will. But unfortunately, Iran has since violated that. They have expressed they still want to make a deal to the president. We're talking to them, but again, the president is not going to allow them to fire on ships in the Strait without paying a consequence for that. And I think just one more point, I think throughout this entire endeavor, the president has proved not just to Iran, but to the entire world that we can hit Iran anytime, anywhere, any place, and their ability to defend themselves has been essentially wiped out because of this president and Operation Epic Fury in the first place. Sure. Lena, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Welcome back.
Thank you.
2 questions for you. If I can read 2 comments, one made by President Trump and one made by the Vice President on Iran. President Trump recently said, as far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them. They're liars. There's something wrong with them. They are cuckoo. They are scum, sick people, vicious, violent people.
Good. They
and
are.
then Vice President Vance went on Joe Rogan last night.
Cheers,
And he
come
said,
on, bro.
I'm very frustrated by the Americans and frankly by people in other countries who say you cannot negotiate with the Iranians. So your response to these contradictions, because I think you can understand how that's confusing for Americans with this mixed messaging. And then second question for you, at least
I mean, we know now.
Americans are
It's the same thing as journalists with election integrity. If the Associated Press is already fact-checking a speech that Donald Trump hasn't even made yet, then the Associated Press is not credible in announcing that Joe Biden is the winner of the 2020 election in that Saturday. Okay? So there's that one. And then we got another one here. Peter B. just wants to get himself spanked. So we will spank you. See you tomorrow. What was I going to say? Oh, and then the thing is with the Iranian thing is the same damn thing.
Detained in Iran. Will President Trump make this conditional, a point of condition in continuing these conversations with the country as well as political prisoners and also people that are still being executed in Iran to this day?
Sure.
Right, exactly. So, like, let's bomb the shit out of them and kill every last one of these stupid fucking idiots that won't negotiate so that we can move the fuck on. Like, I think that's kind of what she's asking, right?
Second question, I'll never.
When can we murder Iran? Can we? When are we blowing up Iran? Asking for a friend because it seems like they don't want to negotiate. When are we blowing them up? Because we should probably blow the whole place up, right? If they're not going to listen, wasn't that the point?
condition. On
No new wars? Yeah, but we have to finish this one. Not Nagasaki style, honestly. Well, let's fucking go. I'm fucking tired of... oh no, they won't allow us shipping. Oh, here's a... Blow them up. It's all sand. Blow them up.
Behalf of the president without his blessing. I haven't heard him say that, but obviously ensuring the return of Americans wrongfully detained or held hostage all over
illiterate.
this world
That's
remains
why
a priority
I
for him,
read
and
the
he
news
has done
every
so
morning.
in a tremendous
Every
way
show
over
at
the
the
course
beginning
of
of
the
the show.
last year and a half. Americans from all over the world have returned home thanks to this president and the efforts of his national security team. To your first
Make 'em go
question
boom,
about
boom.
the
Let's
comments
go.
between the president and the vice president, respectfully, I do think you're taking comments from different times throughout this conflict and kind of asking me if these are contradictory of each other. I can tell you the president and vice president are on the exact same page about where we are right now in this conflict. And the fact that you do see elements of what's remaining
Shoot first, ask questions
in the
later.
Iranian
Facts.
regime that are
Video
more willing
game
to make a
rules.
deal
Call of
than
Duty.
other
Let's
elements who are
go.
not so maybe willing to make a deal shows that Operation Epic Fury was incredibly effective because we neutered their ability to communicate with one another.
90
and
million gone.
System. They
Tired
are
of hearing about it on the
very
news.
Strong, powerful terrorist state that they were before this operation, which was
finish the job.
So we'll continue to work through the process. And as I said,
I kid. I only want the evil ones
when they turn their back on the words that they state to the United States. But he is always open to diplomacy at the very same time.
Thank you, Caroline.
Sure.
Regarding the president's speech tonight, he's been in office over 540 days now. If what he says is tonight is backed up by evidence, why hasn't anyone been charged?
Well, he hasn't
can't replenish the
revealed it yet.
bombs
He
unless they're
hasn't
used. Exactly.
declassified the documents
Why aren't we
that
using our
see what he
bombs?
says tonight, and then we'll move
This is
forward
why Lindsey
appropriately
Graham
from
died.
Tonight from the Justice
He's having a heart attack because we weren't using bombs on Iran, bro.
I don't speak on behalf of the Justice Department, Caitlin. You know that. Rachel.
By evidence, will there be charges?
You'll have to ask the Justice Department. I don't charge people. I just speak on behalf of the president. Rachel.
Thanks, Caroline. Welcome back. Just a point of clarification really quick. On the staffer who is accused of profiting off of the president's speeches, you said he'll no longer be working here. Is he on administrative leave or is he going to be fired after it's over?
He's on unpaid administrative leave right now.
Okay. And
it was crazy that she said that was paid before. That was
on the president's speech tonight. I mean, we've been talking to a lot of Republicans over on Capitol Hill. They have said that focusing on the economy is the right way to go ahead of the midterm elections. They believe that's what voters care most about. What does the president say to Republicans who think that focusing on the 2020 election, election integrity, all of these issues right now is not the right approach so close to the election?
Well, again, you guys have not heard the speech yet, so...
Again, you're speculating what the speech is about. You're speculating based on what they fed you. You do not know, but you think you know. It's such... it's on their face. It's just making them look more and more corrupt every time they do it. And they've done it they fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. But this is why, God, look at the smile on her face. I would be smiling too. All of the media is showing that they're liars.
I would digress with the criticism until you actually hear what the president is going to say and what he's going to say when he addresses the American public. I would also add again that the administration and especially this president are able to walk and chew gum at the same time and tackle a number of issues on a number of different subjects every single day. We see that president do that working around the clock on foreign policy, on domestic policy all of the time. You all report on it. You have to keep up with it. So I think you can agree with me on that point. And I would also add the president will continue to be traveling all around the country to talk about the economy. We were just in Pennsylvania a couple weeks ago touring a Mack truck facility, which has been greatly strengthened and enriched because of this president's economic policies over the last year and a half, and he loves doing that, and he will continue to do so. Jennifer, go ahead.
We have seen, with the increased community strikes, a real decrease in commercial traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. What is the U.S. doing right now to facilitate flows through the Strait of Hormuz and preemptively address the risk that Houthis will actually choke off the Red Sea oil route and that prices will increase further before November?
Sure. Well, two separate questions. First, let me address what's happening in the Strait right now. We know that there is a blockade of ships directed by the president for ships entering and departing Iranian ports only. This has been fully implemented and is in full force. This blockade was reimposed due to Iran's inability to honor their agreement with the United States of America. More than 10,000 U.S. sailors, Marines, and airmen, along with 2 aircraft carriers and more than 20 warships and dozens of aircraft, are executing the blockade mission as we speak. And during the first 24 hours of the blockade, U.S. CENTCOM has redirected 2 compliant commercial vessels and disabled 1 non-compliant vessel. So look, the Strait is open.
Hit the like button, hit subscribe, tell us who you're voting for in the comments section. Keep the conversation alive, guys. All 3 of those things, because we're on a mobile-only live stream, send more people into the algorithm. And when we send more people in the algorithm, we're going to get a crazy conversation going in about 45 minutes here when Trump Daddy walks on stage and potentially my pillow guys himself to death. Or says what's on all our minds and says, John Ossoff, get the hell out of the Senate.
For ships that are not traveling to and from Iranian ports specifically, and the U.S. Navy is there to ensure that can take place. With respect to gas prices, as you know, the price of oil right now is approximately $80 a barrel, maybe a little less. Before I came out here, that's what it was at. Gas prices are down approximately 60 cents a gallon off the peak of this conflict, and the president was honest with the American people from the beginning. There may be temporary disruptions in the oil market, but what
I did a write-in in 2012. That was Ron Paul, because Mitt Romney made me sit in a fucking bus.
Haven't seen is what all of the
Story for a
naysayers
different
said,
day.
that there would be massive increases in the price of oil that so many warned about. And that's in large part because of the president's domestic energy policies here at home to revamp our domestic production here, but also the administration has taken many swift actions to mitigate these temporary disruptions. As you know, we've released oil through our SPR, the Jones Act waiver, which has been incredibly effective, fuel environmental waivers. We also, the president signed the Defense Production Act to restart California oil production. So all of these very swift and mighty actions on behalf of this administration have led to a rather stable oil market, and the president will continue to do all he can to ensure prices come down, stay stable for the American people and the American consumer until the end of this conflict. And ultimately, I think Americans should keep in mind why we're doing this in the first place, to ensure that Iran, a terror state, can never obtain a nuclear weapon. Dasha, go ahead.
Nice to see you back.
You too.
2 questions, one on tonight and one on immigration. It strikes me listening to the conversation in this room about Iran, given the questions that folks on both sides of the aisle have about strategy and endgame, given that the United States has intensified strikes on Iran, typically in a time of conflict, when the president gives an address to the nation, you would expect him to address this conflict.
Ooh, that is true. Like, if he stays fully on election integrity, it would be a very strange move, because we're in open conflict with a hostile nation that we're saying we need to stop and prevent from becoming a nuclear holocaust. And at the same time, we're going to go live in prime time being like, I'm Mike Lindau, and do you want to buy my pillow? Like, it is a little weird on the optics.
Talk about Iran.
Solid
and why
question
is that
from the
not
hot
the
lady.
major topic of his speech?
Also, question: Is she hotter or hottest or sexier or whatever? Is she more fine than Caroline? Is that what we're? That's the question right now. Question of the day right now. Is this reporter, by having a common sense question, more fine than Caroline?
Does he believe that the SAVE Act and the 2020 election integrity are more important right now?
Well, no, it's not a matter of importance. It's just a matter of timing. The president will be making a very important announcement with respect to the integrity of our elections. However, it is also very possible.
She's going, it's also very possible that I go and I tell him he has to talk about the Iran war too, because you're totally right. That would be really fucking weird.
The top of the speech, he will mention the current situation with Iran and also the economy as well. As you all know, President Trump is a man of his own word, and he sometimes is thinking about these things up until he walks out. But we have had conversations about him addressing a range of topics, and that could very well be possible tonight. Again, this is all more reason for all of you to carry the speech live and for the American people to tune in tonight.
Again, like, do you see me sitting here? Like, I can speculate, but I'm not sitting here deciding what the answer is to the question before he addresses it or gives us what he's going to give us. I can speculate. I can say he's going to give us nothing, or he's going to give us all this crazy stuff about John Ossoff or whatever. But until he goes up there and says something, I'm not actually making declarative statements like the Associated Press, the people that put Joe Biden in the White House.
So they can hear directly from the American
fact-checking things before they happen.
Their own conclusions.
Crazy.
Caroline, sorry, I just wanted to add the immigration question real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
Sorry. 3 men were killed in ICE encounters in less than a week. As a result, DHS announced that it would end vehicle stops, and then President Trump urged them to change their position. Can you confirm whether vehicle stops are back on, and is the administration doing anything more to prevent these kinds of deaths, maybe accelerating distribution of body cam footage, body cameras which weren't present in this case?
So a couple of things. Vehicle stops are continuing. Verbal guidance has been given to all field offices across the country by the Department of Homeland Security. The President and the Secretary of Homeland Security are on the same page that vehicle stops are a necessary tool that ICE agents need.
Yeah, that 30-minute televised slap by Ross Perot. We need a 21st century version of that.
The worst of the worst illegal alien criminals from our country. With respect
or
to
Ralph
body
Nader
cameras,
with
I
the
know
duck
there's
chicken.
been some questions about that in recent days.
Bring
Over
it
half
back.
of all ICE field offices now do have body cameras, and the remainder of the field offices are expected within 60 days. It's been a slower rollout than we would have hoped, but that's because of the Democrats' decision to shut down DHS for several weeks. So we expect to fully execute on the promise of body cams to all field offices across the country very soon. Karen.
On the parasite outbreak related to produce, can you give an update on the administration's response to this? Are there federal officials on the ground in the hardest hit states right now doing any testing of production facilities or farms to try to figure out where this outbreak has started?
Sure. Well, what I can tell you, having been back at the White House for just a couple of short weeks, I've been in meetings on this very topic, and I can tell you the White House is closely monitoring the situation, has a handle on the situation. We're committed to providing the CDC and the FDA the resources that they need, and we urge all Americans to follow CDC guidance on properly washing and cooking raw ingredients to prevent this foodborne illness. As you know, there has been an unusually high number of cases. There are typically thousands of cases of this outbreak every year, but there has been an unusually higher number, and that's why we're working with the FDA and other partners at the federal, state, and local level to increase detection methods, provide the guidance, and then also, most importantly, trace the outbreak back to its original source, which we are currently in the process of doing.
You got the diarrhea, about 3,000.
Permanent leadership at the CDC,
It was all
and
Michigan,
FDA,
though.
and any funding cuts, has that slowed the
Just that big
response
hype
to
stuff
figure
since
out where this outbreak
post-COVID.
started?
Everybody
No,
liked
we've
that.
talked to the CDC and FDA specifically about that, and not at all. They have the resources they need to make sure that Americans are fully informed and protected from this illness during this time.
Caroline, welcome back.
Thanks.
Last year, the administration signed a critical minerals deal, mining deal with Kazakhstan for a little-known U.S. company.
Do you think Iran would use the
President
bomb?
Trump and Howard Lutnick got tentative approval for with
Yeah, if they
Kazakhstan's
had it,
president
but
in
it's kind of
September.
hard to say that they would
6
even
days
have
before
it.
the deal was signed,
Never
which was in
really had
November,
access
the
to it.
president's
They could
older
do that.
sons with other partners took a 20% investment in a company related to the deal.
Definitely would
What did
use
the
it
president
now,
know about
like,
his son's
ultimately,
involvement in this arrangement, and when did he find out about it?
From my understanding, Maggie, nothing. I've spoken to the president and his family about this. They would absolutely never do anything that would put the president in a place of a conflict of interest. And we have timelines to give you and to provide you, which we did to the news media at the time when this story broke, to prove that very point that I just made.
Sorry, just 1 second. So the president did not learn about it until it was in the media? That was when he found out?
That's my understanding of the matter, yes.
Caroline,
Go ahead.
Thank you very
Carrie, I'll
much.
go to you after. Just
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Me? Okay.
Why don't we just...
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Cook.
Starting
You
in
are
the
very,
back?
very welcome back.
Okay. Thank you.
Yesterday, Iran launched a drone attack against U.S. facilities in Erbil,
you picked the one that can't
American
speak English,
personnel
bro?
and the Kurdistan region, one of the American closest partner in the Middle East. What is your message to those responsible? And are you staying with your loyal ally in the Middle East and at least helping them to defend itself?
Who launched the attack? You're saying
Iran,
yes,
Kurdistan
of course.
region.
Well, I think I've addressed that previously in saying that Iran has unfortunately shown to violate the word that they struck with the President of the United States. They're paying
Well, they're
consequences
about to
for
go
that in the
away.
the President
They don't
has
start
authorized in the
negotiating.
recent days.
Thank you,
I feel like
Caroline.
I-
You
like
were
they-
with the president in
they just got a
Ankara
few
for
days
the
left.
NATO summit, and
Guys
there
are getting
Ukraine
fed
was
up.
one of
I
the...
was not actually.
Oh, you were not. Okay, yeah, but the issue of Ukraine was one of the most important topics there, and the situation is escalating between the two sides in these days. But there are still efforts. Can you give us more information about where we are and how the local power breakers, including Turkey, are involving in order to solve the problem?
Sure, I'll check with the National Security Council and get back to you on that with more specific guidance. What I can tell you is I know the president greatly enjoyed his visit to Turkey, and not just his participation in the NATO summit, where he applauded the United States for getting our NATO allies to step up and pay their fair share for our defense, but also he greatly enjoyed his time with President Erdogan in Turkey and appreciates the bilateral relationship between our two countries. Kara.
Caroline, welcome back.
Thanks.
Contrary to what the mainstream media is reporting, Americans that I speak to care deeply about election integrity.
This is true.
Why do you think the mainstream media is so fearful of tonight's speech and anything to do with election interference? And
Look at them all. Look at them all looking at her like, why are you asking this question, you MAGA racist person? Like, they're all showing their face on this.
attempting to discredit President Trump's speech before they even heard it.
Before it even
And lastly,
is done.
What's your message to AOC, who is asking for President Trump, the mainstream media, to actually censor the sitting president's speech tonight?
Yeah, to censor the speech before it's even said.
I think that the mainstream media
Crazy.
should air the president's speech and allow the American people to draw their own conclusions from it. Again, I think
Goddamn
it's
right.
important
What the fuck,
that the
man?
American public hears directly from the President of the United States on a topic that, to your point, is very
Just think
near
if
and
they
dear
were in
to the hearts
charge,
of
if they were in charge, you wouldn't be allowed to speak. If they were still in charge of the media apparatus, he wouldn't be allowed to speak. If it was up to them, 2021, they would have banned his accounts and they would have just kept them there. And listen, you have AOC right now saying, instead of listening to what Donald Trump has to say tonight, we should ban him before he even says it. Shouldn't be allowed to hear it. Because I think he might say something that I don't like.
many Americans
Crazy.
across the country the integrity of our elections. This should be a nonpartisan, non-controversial issue, and I think you'll hear the president talk about that tonight. So we'll see you then. Thank you.
Yeah, wow. Really showing their face on this one. They are really, really upset, and it's very concerning. God damn, guys, that is really concerning that we are that crazy out that one. Let's get into the JD Vance interview for a minute. We've still got about 25, 30 minutes left until we actually are going live, and I'm sure he'll be a little late as well. But let's get into this interview. Let's get a little deep dive breakdown of the JRE.
Podcast by night, all day.
He pushed him back. He pushed him back on Mr. JD
So
Vance
last time
from
we
what I
talked,
saw of the clips.
last time I
let's
saw
get
you,
into it, right?
you were at a cage fight at the White House.
That's right.
That's
one of the craziest experiences of my life. It must have been one of the craziest experiences of your life.
Oh yeah, it took me like 2 weeks afterwards to recover, just to like go. Did that actually happen? It seems so insane.
Okay, the most insane part of it, which I guess was before you got there, to me at least, is you come into work every day in the White House, right? You know, I have an office in the West Wing. There's the Oval Office in the West Wing, and you look out the window, and as this like 8-story complex was growing up, it was just the most unbelievable thing. It's like the South Lawn of the White House, but you've got the 8th wonder of the world being built up around it.
It's
and
crazy.
every day I'd look at it and be like, it would take me a couple seconds. I'd be like, what the hell is going on? And I'd be like, oh yeah, it's UFC. It's UFC coming in a couple weeks.
The whole thing was surreal.
Yeah.
First of all, it was crazy that the weather just went around us. Like
That's
there
right.
was a real moment where the fights would have been postponed until 10:30 p.m. to start.
Correct.
And last minute.
And honestly, thank God that happened for that event and not like so. Like, yeah, the 4th of July fireworks got like really pushed, and Donald Trump did the latest speech ever for a president ever because of it on the 4th of July. But I'm so glad that was the rain out and not the UFC event. If the UFC was the rain out, that would have really sucked.
Storm just diverted.
I just can't believe
That's right.
that it did.
Well, and this
I gotta take a piss
this
real quick,
book
guys. I'll
that
be
I
back in 1
have
second.
that I guess we'll talk about a little bit, but the book tour started the next day. So I was flying to New York the next day to talk about it. And all I could think about is every time we got the update from White House weather, oh, it might not start until 10:30. I was thinking to myself, well, holy shit, that means I'm going to go to bed at like 4 a.m. I'm going to look like a total crazy person when I'm trying to go talk about this book. But yeah, it amazingly, it did work out. Honestly, it actually helped a little bit because, as you know, it was hot as hell out there.
Yeah.
And it was super humid, mid-June in D.C., and I think the weather actually helped cool it down a little bit because by about 10 o'clock or so, I was not thinking it's hot as hell out here anymore.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but I talked to Justin Gaethje about it, and he said it was a problem when he was fighting. He said the air was very thick.
Okay.
Like right after the first round, he was like,
Yeah.
boy, like this is rough. Because that hot, humid air and, it's...
Yeah. No, it's
fine walking around.
It's okay walking around. It still feels, it is a swamp, right? That's why
Yeah.
people call it the swamp. So, that's obviously June 14th. That's the president's.
That's not why they call it the swamp.
That's one of the reasons why they call it the swamp.
They call it the swamp.
They call it swamp because of my colleagues, too.
Because it's filled with mud and water and gunk and shit and swamp monsters.
Oh, man. So that's June 14th. So that's the president's birthday. That was my 12th wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
And my wife. So that's the one thing. Like if somebody runs in here, it's because my wife's going into labor because she's like 39 weeks pregnant. But I remember we go out to dinner like right before the UFC fight. And we're, of course, checking the weather report to figure out what's going on. And, my wife normally likes to come to the cool stuff of being vice president. That was the one where she was like, it's hot. I'm super pregnant, and I'm not going to sit out there for 6 hours. So
yeah, I couldn't imagine. Also, it was just there was so much chaos, and the potential for real chaos was always there. First of all, you have the ellipse. So the ellipse has 85,000 people outside.
Correct. That's right.
And for people that are watching at home, like we could hear them.
Yes.
Like when the fights, when something would happen.
in like kind of a delayed way, right? Yeah.
You hear the cheers from the people that were near, so it was like 3,000 plus people tightly close to the octagon.
10 minutes left
And
in our
then you
poll of
had-
the day, guys. Make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, keep the conversation going. Let us know who you're voting for President of the United States in 2028. We're about 30 minutes away from Daddy Trump making this a primetime address, and we're going to be watching the Joe Rogan JRE with JD Vance that dropped yesterday. And if we get through all of this tonight, we might even go into the Mr. Beast episode that just dropped today as well. But we're just waiting, hanging tight until the live speech of Daddy Trump in prime time. Get your votes in now. 9 minutes left in this round, and then we release our first third-party candidate of the evening.
85,000 people.
It's a wild one. It's definitely, I will say, the third-party candidate for this next hour is somebody that is notoriously tied to election interference.
Backgrounds. It was very eerie.
Yeah. I actually loved that. Like, I loved the delay reaction to where, somebody get a good punch in or, you get a takedown.
Mr. Beast
and then
might
it was
be a
almost
robot.
like
He may
the
very
wave.
well be
Right?
Yeah.
Because there was the initial center of it and then the people outside of it.
It was pretty sick.
It was pretty sick. It was very cool. I think Dana said not once in a lifetime, or not once in a generation, or once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's once ever.
Yeah.
I don't see any other president. I mean, if you become president, you're not going to do that, right?
I don't know, man.
Did
you hear that? The response to the proposition of him running in 2028, it seems pretty on brand that he's basically saying, I don't know if I'll do it, but he is speculating that he might be the president.
It's a very cool thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Get it over with. Do it once. It was the only time in the history of the sport where there's been 7 stoppages, seven knockouts.
Wow.
Like every single fight was a knockout.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, every single fight.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, we've had 7 knockouts in a card. I think this last weekend we had 10 stoppages. But that was different.
Yeah.
Because it was like 14 fights.
That's right. Well,
This
okay,
is
so-
all fights. Every single fight was a knockout.
So the last fight, when did you realize that was over?
With Connor?
Yeah.
When he fell down.
Ooh. I have my own theories on this. I think that Joe Rogan may be in on it, guys.
A second time, I was like, oh, this is not good. The first time I thought he just slipped. it's hard to tell. It's wild. It's in the moment. I thought he slipped. And then when he got up and he threw a kick again.
Did JD come and do this interview specifically just to investigate Joe Rogan for gambling fraud?
And I'm like, oh, I don't like how his leg just gave out. That didn't seem like. And I'm still hoping he's just slipping.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he's just freaking out because he hasn't been in the.
You know that McGregor said on his Instagram that it should have been called a no contest, but in him saying that, he's essentially admitting that he was injured before he entered the ring.
Octagon in 5 years, and then he started moving around, and he like grabbed his knee and buckled.
Okay.
And there was some
I
conversation.
didn't notice that.
Yeah, there was some conversation going on between him and.
See, he goes, okay, I didn't notice that. JD's on the same side I am. He's like, why do you keep saying that you saw the knee buckle and that you saw the injury happen? We all seen the videos 4 days earlier when he's limping into the gym.
Max Holloway, and I was like, Max is saying he can't fight, like something's wrong, and he's saying, fight me. He's like, get up, and so he lets him up, and then his knee buckles, and then the referee stops the fight.
Yeah. It's always so the very, I think it was the very last fight where the ref tried to call it at the end.
Trump has thrown Vance under the bus way too many times. Lil Marco has a better chance. Lil Marco almost loses every single time in the opening vote of our show. Marco Rubio is number 2 on Kelce, but Marco Rubio has only won our poll of the day twice. Ever. Gavin Newsom has won 18 times.
The third round?
I don't know. I like Marco Rubio more too. I just feel like he doesn't have the
there was a
personality to
concussion
actually
issue. I mean,
get
I couldn't
the
tell
vote.
what was going
This is the
on.
Ilya Taporia fight? The Justin Gaethje fight at the White House?
The Taporia Justin Gaethje
No, he couldn't
fight.
see.
Okay.
He was saying he couldn't see well. Something was wrong with his right eye.
Well, I mean,
So-
it looks like his whole face was puffed up, so he couldn't see anything. But okay, so I thought it was a concussion thing, but it was because of his vision.
No, they never do that. The concussion thing would only be if someone had been battered. There's a lot of times where fighters are fighting with concussions.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
You get dropped in the first round, you probably have a concussion.
Yeah.
You get back up, you keep fighting, you're fighting on instincts. There's been many times where fighters wake up in like the 4th round.
Sure.
And they've
Snoop
fought
Dogg
3
is still
rounds
the
and they don't
closest with
remember it
25%.
at all.
Oh my
I know.
God. That's pretty crazy.
4 minutes.
Not the best way to make a living.
The poll closes for the
Not
second
the best
hour.
way to
guys.
make a living, man. Yeah, no. So we saw Gaethje at the White House a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
I asked him, I was like, so are you done fighting? And he kind of hesitated a little bit. And then I think it was his mom was in the Oval Office with him. She's like, yes.
Yeah, but, if they offer him some life-changing money for one more fight after that performance, I have a feeling he'll take it.
Like, what could he fetch for his next fight? Like 50 more?
It's a good question. I don't know what his contract is. I don't know how it works. I don't know what the most anyone's ever. I try not to pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm not on the business end of the
and
sport.
it can
I'm
kind of
on-
color your perception a little bit.
It can. And it's also. I want them to get paid the most amount possible.
Right.
That's my perspective.
Yeah.
But my job is just to analyze and to see what's going on and to commentate and try to give color and life to what's happening inside the octagon.
What he's trying to get at is that if he hints that somebody should be paid this or paid that, then they can go and they can talk to Dana White and they can leverage that.
And I try not to dwell too much on the money. I
Yeah.
just want them to get paid a lot.
Yeah.
I want them to be able to retire and never have to do anything ever again.
Sure.
And
Well,
I don't know if Justin could do that.
What's crazy about it to me is just how much the sport has replaced boxing. And like, there's still, obviously boxing is still a big deal and the fighters still get paid a lot of money. But like,
Just how
I
much
remember
is
when I
enough,
was,
exactly.
I don't know, in high school, I feel like people would get really excited about the big heavyweight title
Yeah.
bout. Now it's the UFC thing.
Yeah.
So culturally, it's like UFC has taken over boxing. And I don't know how or why that happened. Like, I don't know if it's just good marketing or if it's just the fights are so much more real and intense. But it is a crazy shift that's happened in 20 years.
Well, I had some friends this past weekend that manage fighters. My friend Josh Dubin and a few other friends that actually manage boxers.
Yeah.
Come to the UFC.
MMA
and they were
hasn't
all
replaced boxing. I don't know. I think you might be living under the oldest rock to ever exist because yes, it has.
like, oh my God, this is so much
Yes,
better
it-
than a boxing.
Yes, it has. Absolutely has.
Well, yeah. because all the fights are exciting. With boxing, most people are just there for the main event, and a lot of people don't even stroll in until 15 minutes before the main event.
Sure,
like all the famous people that sit in the front row.
Yeah.
In the UFC, that place is packed.
Yeah, exactly. Like Tucker Carlson and Theo Vaughn and Mike Tyson, they're all sitting there from 8 p.m. all the way to the end of the fight. And they're watching the fight. When you go to a boxing match, you buy the ticket, you get valeted in 15 minutes before, Mayweather or Oscar De La Hoya or whoever fucking goes out there. And then by the time that they actually get out there, it's like 15-minute fight, and then you leave. It's like horse racing. It's ridiculous.
5, 6, 7
UFC
fights
is
in.
very lowbrow.
And there's 14 fights in the night, and all of them are amazing. It's like,
what do you watch?
In the beginning, it's usually like
WNBA?
half full, depending on where you are.
WNBA is
If you're in a
really
place like
good.
Salt Lake City, it's pretty packed like right away because they only get like one event every year or so. But it's just a more exciting sport. There's more.
It has an audience, just not in pay for the fighters yet. Taco Bell Wi-Fi, welcome back to the chat. We watching the Trump thing tonight? Yep, absolutely. It comes in about 18 to 20 minutes. We're about to close the poll on our second hour of our poll of the day. We are not there yet. We're 1 minute away. I will vote for JD Vance for a show. He's 49 away. He might get his 50th win
Ways
tonight.
to win. It's more dynamic. More things happen.
Yeah.
And there's more stars. There's so many stars in the UFC.
Yeah. So I'd never seen a fight live before. Like I've watched them on TV, but I'd never been there live. So kind of crazy that it's literally in the South Lawn of the White House. But the thing that I found completely shocking about it was like I would think.
All right, guys. WNBA is a joke. Absolutely. Those are facts. Kind of like there might be some facts about the election that are set tonight, guys. All right. Remember, we just watched the entire press conference where every person in the mainstream media basically said, we're going to fact check this speech before he says the speech, which pretty much tells you they're lying. Especially coming from Associated Press, and now the Associated Press was the people that put Joe Biden in the White House, guys. Our poll of the day, we close in that second hour. We start in that third hour with our every hour in our third hour and in our extra hours, we do a third party candidate who will be president in 2028. 845 days until election. And we've got Mr. JD Vance still sitting pretty, potentially getting his 50th win tonight. 49 wins, and he got 58% of the vote there. And then we got Gavin Newsom with 18% of the vote, or 18 wins, and he got 42% of the vote in the runoff. And our third party candidate for this hour is going to be none other than somebody that is personally tied to election integrity, guys. What are our guesses? Well, your guesses are up. And the third-party candidate is Gretchen Whitmer. Gretchen Whitmer is that third-party candidate in this hour. Get your votes in now. Let me rattle off our third-party percentages so far. These are the percentages when we ever get extra hours or extra innings, I like to call them, extra time, overtime in our show. We go to a third-party candidate for that hour. These are the percentages of the highest third-party candidates have ever gotten in the poll of the day. Our poll of the day that has been going on now for 79 days, right? 50, 60, 70, no, 69 days. This is day 70. This is day 70 of our poll. All right, day 70 of our poll, and here is what we got so far. Mark Zuckerberg and Vivek Ramaswamy, 6%. Olivia Rodrigo, Melania Trump, 7%. Dave Portnoy, 8%. Ron DeSantis, Thomas Massey, Alex Jones, John Fetterman, Theo Vaughn, Donald Trump Jr., 9%. Josh Shapiro, 10%. RFK, 10%. Tulsi Gabbard, Ben Shapiro, 11%. Bobby Lee, Stephen Miller, Elon Musk, Asmongold, The Rock, Pete Buttigieg, all at 12%. AOC, 14%. Shane Gillis, Joe Rogan, 15%. Mark Cuban, 16%. Michelle Obama, 17%. Taylor Swift, 19%. Afroman, 20%. Tucker Carlson, 21%. Mr. Beast, Jon Stewart, Kamala Harris, and Matthew McConaughey, 22% apiece. Our top dog in the third-party race at 25%, Mr. Snoop Dogg, our third-party candidate right now, Gretchen Whitmer for this hour. How will she do? Marco Rubio has won our poll twice. Gavin Newsom has run our poll 18 times. And right now, leading and potentially winning his 50th win in our 70 days of doing this show so far, guys. JD Vance with 49 wins. All right, guys, let's get back into the news. Let's get back into JD Vance on Joe Rogan. We will cover the speech live soon as they drop that White House link for us.
Those like armbar takedowns are just done. Like, that's it. You're over.
Where's the
but
dog?
there
The
were a
dog's
couple
25?
of times where somebody had another person's arm.
Yeah, that was Josh Hokett and
Sorry.
Derek Lewis. Bless you.
And it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, he
You're
just
going to have your
wasn't-
arm broken off.
He
and yet
wasn't-
he didn't.
He wasn't doing it right.
Okay. Oh.
Josh Hokett is a great wrestler.
Yeah.
And he's an
Oh,
excellent
wasn't doing it
fighter.
right.
But he's not really a submission specialist. I mean, he did get the arm bar, but he didn't do it right.
Okay.
He was basically like pulling on. You have to elevate your hips and you have to create space so that the arm is bending back this way.
Yeah.
His arm is essentially flat to his chest, which is not what you want. What you want is a back arch like this, where you see like how it is right there?
Yeah.
So what he wants to do here, what he should do, instead of having his hips down, his knees up, which
If
you're
you guys
supposed
didn't see it, Josh Hokett, the Michelle Obama is a man guy, did call out his next opponent. He is 10-0 right now, and he called out a French fighter by doing the Netflix documentary style thing. It's a YouTube short on this channel if you go check out the YouTube shorts. And Josh Hokett calls that guy gay.
do his
I love
heavy
Josh
leg
Hokett.
curls with the leg.
First
and
Michelle
elevate
Obama's a
the
man,
hips
now he's
up
doing the Netflix
and pull it
documentary
way back.
trend,
So he'd almost
calling
be
out his next
bridging.
opponent is gay.
He would be on the top of his shoulders and
Josh
bridging,
Hokett,
and then he would have broken
undefeated,
his arm. The
having
other
fun with
option
it.
is you pull it off to the side like this.
Yeah.
And you put it to the side of your hip, and you can break it that way.
Okay.
But it's just bad technique.
Yeah. Okay. So
No
watching
offense.
it.
No offense, Josh.
Yeah. Watching it, I didn't realize that. I just could not believe that dude held out for like 30 seconds with his
Was
arm in
that more
position.
shocking, or when he said Michelle Obama is a man? Which was more shocking?
Can't believe breaking the tension in the room.
Definitely the armbar part. Man, I
What was more shocking, man? Definitely the armbar part. Bro's trying to keep his fucking polls even. He answered. That was the best response to that I've ever seen.
people say crazy stuff all the time.
Well, he says that every fight.
In politics,
Does he?
people,
Yeah.
he's like, what was crazier, the armbar was, in politics, people say crazy stuff all the time.
He said that the last time I interviewed him.
Oh, man. Well, dude,
he's like a
it's-
pro wrestling character. Like
people lost their minds about it.
I know.
Lost their minds about it. To the point where, again, I had The View either the next day or the day after to sort of promote this book.
That must be fun.
It was crazy. It was harder than anything I've done in politics. But the to the point where all of my comms people, the thing they were most worried about was they're going to ask you about Michelle Obama being called a man. What are you going to say about it? And I was like, what, an amped up fighter told a joke after a fight, said something after a fight, and that's actually
Dude, that is our next president, people. Thank you. Keeping us stable and calm. Like, it's not like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is such a grifter. This guy is really fucking fundamentally like, I do kind of want it. Because it's like a practical version of Trump. He just deflated that entire thing. He was like, wait, you mean the thing you're going to ask me about is a fighter saying a joke after he fought? Like, yeah, you just dismissed the whole thing.
News. I'm still surprised. I've been in politics now for 3 or 4 years. I'm still shocked at the shit that people get really fired up about.
Well, I kind of understand it because it's at the White
What? But again, yeah, the at the White House bullshit. That is a sacred building. Shut up. Shut up. Burn it. It's been burnt down twice already. Like, what are we doing? It's about free speech. That's the sacredness of it. That you can fucking say whatever the fuck you want there. That's what was sacred.
Fight at the White House is crazy already. I mean, if he said Michelle Obama's a man at the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, it's like, okay.
It's less of a story.
What he is
right. JD gets it. JD's like, that's less of a story. JD gets it. Why are you trying to like self-regulate and self-censor fighters in the UFC, Joe Rogan? Why are you being like, well, I can kind of understand cancel culture, the thing that they literally tried to bring me down on?
A very good fighter, first of all, but sometimes it's not enough to get attention. And so what Josh has done is created this persona, like this pro wrestling bad guy persona. When you talk to him off stage, he's like very normal, very smart guy.
Yeah.
It's just like he's decided, like, look, I want to maximize the amount of eyeballs that see me, and I'm going to create this crazy persona. He comes out to the Hulk Hogan song, I'm a real American.
That's right.
He has sunglasses on, an American flag bandana.
Right.
It's, he's.
I mean, I love the
presentation.
I love the presentation, but again, I like.
Not the best thing to say at the White House. Michelle Obama's a man is not the best thing to say.
Fair, but the reaction to it to me was still totally disproportionate.
Yeah, of course.
People say stuff all the time, and I work in a business where obviously people make life and death decisions all the time, and I'm always a little bit caught off guard by the culture that just overreacts when clearly the thing that Josh is trying to get is the overreaction in the first place.
Right.
So you give him exactly what he wants, and like the worst you could say is, "Oh, that was an offensive comment," and you get on with the rest of your life. Like that's the worst thing you could say. The people who
so people that latch on to that, it's kind of crazy.
Really flip out about it and kind of lose their minds. I don't understand that.
Well, first of all, I think a lot of it is there is an economy that is essentially based on getting reaction.
Correct. This Trump thing,
and there's a lot of people that are just, for lack of a better term, they're not real. Their reactions are performative. Like a lot of what they're doing is just trying to comment on things and get clicks and likes and views, and social media
and so why are you playing into it? As somebody that knows that that's what's going on, why would you play into it? I love JD Vance here. He's kind of showing that he needs to be the president, even more so than Joe Rogan. More stability than Joe Rogan? You have more common sense than Joe Rogan?
In discourse in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
because people are not having like real conversations about things. They're reacting to things on Instagram and Twitter.
Yes.
Right.
And they're
so
just they look at an opportunity like that, like, oh, I found a gold nugget.
Yeah.
Like this is gonna.
Oh well, yeah, I get what you're saying. You're saying don't give them what they want, but at the same time, what JD Vance is saying is even giving them what they want, that's kind of the objective he had. He needed to say something, like you just said, he needed to say something controversial in order to gain the attention of the masses at the White House. What's more ridiculous is the way that people overreacted, because at the end of the day, the worst thing you can say about what he said is that was a racist comment, or that was a derogatory comment, or that shouldn't be said there. So if that upsets your whole fucking day, your whole week, your whole month, your whole whatever, you're insane.
Give me money, or this is going to give me attention. This is going to get. Oh, I can't wait to have a take on that.
How you still on YouTube?
Exactly right. So my response to that is so many things is like, oh, he was being funny, he was being outrageous, and I just move on with my life. What I find very interesting is the people who say, oh, that was a joke. Like when Kill Tony, do you remember he told like the joke heard around the world in Madison Square Garden during the 2024 election? I remember getting into an argument with somebody about this, and I may have even been like in an interview, but I don't remember. It could have been private too. Anyway, I'm like, he told a joke. And the person's response is, well, it's not a very funny joke. And my response to that is, you know what happens when somebody tells me a joke that's not funny? I don't laugh, and then I move on with my life.
Right.
This whole industry around.
Right, around this culture where you need to condemn someone because you don't like something, it's wrong.
Outrage.
No.
Especially getting outraged around humor, I think is actually really.
I
hurting the
reinstall
country.
and uninstall X.
Well, in that case,
Depending
first
on
of all,
when I
I
need it.
told Tony a long time ago that joke was going to get him stabbed. I really did. He even jokes around about it on stage.
But that's what I mean. But like, why is your response to regulate? Why is your response? Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to push the button? Why don't you just want to cash the money in? I like JD Vance's stance more, which is, why are we allowing these people to rage bait us into oblivion? We do not care that he said that Michelle Obama's a man. The rest of us have common sense. Move the fuck on. The end. It's a joke. You didn't like it? Move on.
He talks about me telling
what
him,
it is.
that's the one, dude. That's the one that's going to get you stabbed.
Any good joke, at least, is going to run you some risk of getting you
certainly
stabbed.
a racial joke. And that joke being about Puerto Rico. By the way, no one takes a joke better than Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans are some of the best people at telling jokes. Like it is a culture of joking and fucking around with each other and talking shit.
Absolutely.
Like, they're great at it. So like they
I
love
served
him
some
still.
Puerto Rican guys in the Marine Corps, man. That's absolutely true.
They love him still.
Yes.
You know, like even after that joke.
Yeah. Well,
But
so you advised him not to tell that joke?
Well, I was kind of half joking. You know, Tony. That's what Tony
But
does.
see, that's the thing. So you said that Josh Holkett shouldn't say that at the UFC event. You now are claiming that the biggest joke of all times in politics, Tony Hinchcliffe shouldn't have said. It seems like Joe Rogan is a self-regulator and that JD Vance is a lot more of a libertarian advocate for free speech than I originally even thought. Like, it's kind of crazy to just over and over again see this kind of Hollywood mentality of being like, well, you don't want to feed into it. Well, you don't want to upset the blue hairs. Well, you don't want to piss off the care. Fuck them. Your life is your own. JD's Islander.
You know what? I just said that's the one that's going to get you stabbed. But I mean, that's what Tony does. Tony is like the Josh Holkett of comedy. Like he, but very talented. You know, he's a really good. He's a roaster.
So funny.
He's like roasting is his specialty, but it's also like he's trying to ruffle people's feathers. That's what he wants to do.
Yep.
He wants to piss people off. He likes being a pro wrestling heel.
Yeah.
He's a huge pro wrestling fan.
So Tony, I'm a huge fan of his comedy. I've only met him a couple times. I don't know him particularly well, but he's actually like,
guys, I gotta take
more
a
political, I would say, than most
Trump
comedians.
gets on the stage.
Do you think that's fair?
If you all need your personal pause on the balcony as well, please do so. This is the time for our pause. That's what I'm calling it. We're not demonetizing this episode. We are staying family friendly. We're only saying the word retard when people are being retarded. All right. I'll be back in a few minutes. And then Daddy Trump's going to be on stage. It's going to get wild. Get ready, guys!
Very supportive
coming up.
Of
47
Trump.
likes.
Like he's on the Republican team.
Yes,
He's on the Republican team.
So because he's experienced so many loony left-wing people in California, and that's why he had to move.
Well, somebody sent me a clip. I think it was Shane Gillis at a roast where the joke was they were roasting Tony, and they're like, Tony Hinchcliffe is the only dude who would be excited if JD Vance was here.
Hold on.
And I was like,
I gotta pull this one back
that's
because this has a story attached to it today as well.
I said that's the one that's going to get you stabbed. Yeah. But I mean, that's what Tony does. Tony is like the Josh Hope.
So Shane Gillis, he just admitted that Shane Gillis is texting JD Vance, right? Well, JD Vance is also mentioning Shane Gillis, and Shane Gillis tonight, boys. I think tonight's the night. Is tonight the night? Shane at Field. At Lincoln Financial Field tomorrow. It's tomorrow. So we might be doing a live stream tomorrow trying to find somebody that's at that concert. If you know somebody that's at the Lincoln Financial Field largest stand-up concert of all time, essentially our version of Woodstock, guys, the Shane Gillis concert tomorrow, please let me know. If you know anybody that might be able to give us some access, like some, underground, Kanye West type feed or some shit. But I want to cover that tomorrow so bad.
Of comedy.
Biggest moment.
But very
in comedy
talented.
tomorrow.
He's a really good, he's a roaster.
So
He's like roasting is his specialty, but it's also like he's trying to ruffle people's feathers. That's what he wants to do.
Yep.
He wants to piss people off. He likes being a pro wrestling heel.
Yeah.
He's a huge pro wrestling fan.
So Tony, I'm a huge fan of his comedy. I've only met him a couple times. I don't know him particularly well, but he's actually more political, I would say, than most comedians. Do you think that's fair? Okay.
Yes.
So,
very supportive of Trump.
Like he's on the Republican team.
Yes,
he's on the Republican
100%.
team.
So it's because he's experienced so many loony left-wing people in California, and that's why he had to move.
Well, somebody sent me a clip. I think it was Shane Gillis at a roast where the joke was they were roasting Tony. And they're like, Tony Hinchcliffe is the only dude who would be excited if JD Vance was here. And I was like, one, that's a very good joke. And number two, I feel like I had made it. Like, there have been a few moments where I feel like I've made it. When
You're the vice president of the United States. I think you made it.
When South Park spoofed me, I felt it more than when I got it sworn in as vice president of the United States.
That's hilarious. That's very funny. This episode is brought to you by The Farmer's Dog. Here's a fun fact. Research shows that dogs who maintain a healthy weight can live up fresh vegetables.
Yeah.
It was falling apart. And all of these places like New York and really California, especially Los Angeles and San Francisco, they're falling apart. And I have a bunch
Good evening. Before we begin, I'm
Let's
proud
go.
to report that our
Let's
country
go.
is safer.
Are you ready?
And far
Oh,
wealthier
boy.
than it has ever been before. We are doing great. Less than 2 years ago, we inherited an economic and social disaster. After the worst inflation in 48 years, the wide open borders with millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, including criminals of all types.
Sick, my power just went out.
11,888 murders, many of whom killed more than one person. We had transgender for everybody.
All right, guys, I'm listening. I'm
men
going to
and
step out on my
women's
balcony for a minute,
sports,
though.
crime ravaging our cities,
Look back when we
and the whole world was laughing at us as a nation.
That's wild.
But not anymore. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. America is respected like we have never been respected before. We have more money being invested in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. More Americans are working today than ever before. This week it was announced that inflation saw the largest monthly decline in more than 6 years. Just happened. It was just given out. The media reported it, and we accept it. The best in 6 years. The tax cuts in our great, big, beautiful bill are saving hardworking families thousands and thousands of dollars, like with the provisions, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, along with the interest deduction on a loan used to purchase a car, but only if that car is made in America, and a 100% expensing for our job-creating businesses. Our stock markets are at their highest point in many years, but we can actually say of all time. And your 401ks, pensions, and retirement accounts are setting records every single day, the highest in history. For years, we paid the highest price for prescription drugs anywhere in the world.
I can mute him
Now
for a
we
second 'cause
pay
he's
the
just
lowest
giving us a
price
teaser.
under my most
He's going to come out in a
favored
second.
nation.
But guys, I just got to say this right now. A hummingbird, while I was smoking on my balcony, just came up and was just like almost came at me. Almost came at me. Oh, dude, that was the weirdest, craziest high experience I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, let's back to Daddy Trump. Enough of the teasing. Get to the election fraud.
You have to go to TrumpRx.gov and take advantage of it.
Let's fucking
But
go.
the cost of health care is coming way down because of what we've done with prescription drugs. And with Trump accounts, every child in America now has access to a tax-free investment account to save for their future. Billions and billions of dollars are being invested, put in by companies and individuals to take care of our children so that at age 18 they will have potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in their account, and they'll get off to a great start in life. So for that, go to trumpaccounts.gov and sign up your child or any child that'd like to sign up.
Enough of the promo. Let's go,
Our
man.
previously wide open borders have been transformed into the most secure borders in the history of our country, with 0 illegal aliens being admitted to the United States in the past 14 months. That is 0. Nobody thought it was possible.
He's doing ad reads like Andrew Huberman, like 15 at the top. Let's go, let's go.
Crime is plummeting nationwide, with the murder rate at its lowest level since 1900, or more than 125 years ago. We're making a record investment in our armed forces, and we have the strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed, because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple.
Okay,
no
here
trust,
we go. Oh,
no
there's
greatness.
the tease.
For many
Here we
years,
go.
I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections.
Are we living in Italy?
Every American
Is it the beginning
deserves
of
to know
fascism?
that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system
Bro, get him
secure.
some water. His
One
voice is
where
gurgling
cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence, revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure.
Okay.
This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes, and really exposes like levels never thought possible, the hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference.
Hacking away at my forehead.
Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you, the American people, our beautiful, our great American people. But that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House.
Remember the Epstein documents that they released, though? Remember that? Remember when they were, yeah? So, don't have a good track record on showing us the documents. Now we're going to have to wait for the CoffeeZilla response. Hey, CoffeeZilla, did you read all the documents yet? Let me know. Because once you do, then I'll be back being able to understand what the hell is going on, because I don't trust the media nor Trump.
Transparency Task Force, a great group of people.
I'm a grifter, Alex. What am I grifting? Please, let me know. Because I'm broke.
Staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings, we are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern.
Okay.
First, they show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote. And
you do realize that in 2023, a sheriff in a small county in Florida leaked every single Social Security number in all of America? Like, we do not give a shit that they have our email addresses, okay? All they had to do was go and look them up.
Engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening. This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare.
Blah, blah,
The
blah.
intelligence
Mike
even
Lindau.
shows that
Mike
China
Lindau
assigned a data exploitation unit specifically to this new project. Compounding the travesty, the second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our...
Say their fucking names. You have no balls. You're vaguely, come on.
Intelligence agency worked to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling, covering it up from both the president and the American people like nobody thought was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions.
I don't care about the data. None of us care about the data. Shut the fuck up about the data. We don't want the data centers. We don't want the data fucking from the election. We don't care about the fucking data, bro. Give us something real here.
Voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information secret and hidden. They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they kept saying is, this is the most secure election in the history of our country. A standard, very pat line that was divvied out to say.
That was a heavy one.
The cover-up of this colossal security breach is even more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration and our 2020 campaign. They did not want, and they just didn't want it. They fought like hell not to have it, Donald Trump, to win, and for good reason.
Yeah, get over it.
As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and...
that is fact. No one asked for Trump's supposed election fraud proof to be declassified. How about the rest of the Epstein files? Huh? How about we trade you back your fucking stupid election data on China and you give us the rest of the Epstein files? How about that? Yeah, that sounds great to me too.
That were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his re-election. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections. And later the results of the 2020.
The reason I'm getting so discouraged by this, guys, is because, yeah, it might be inherently illegal, but it's not something that actually affected the actual voter tally of any election. Like, what you're doing here is you're saying people withheld information about China gaining access to information that China shouldn't have been able to access information of. And how do you draw the parallels that stopped you from winning the election, my guy? It's just such deep, deep dwelling by Donald Trump.
Presidential election itself. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot, when actually your president has done a great job, and they did everything possible to do exactly that.
Just
Going on, this
his
document
supporters.
says, and this is by the CIA, the strategy included
Talking to your
efforts to
grandma.
use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence U.S. business leaders to turn against the President of the United States of America. The Chinese government
It
sought
doesn't
to
even need to be a
identify
lie,
U.S.
though,
journalists
Randy.
who
It's
had
just stupid.
reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could, and they didn't care what they said. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election, and the reason they wanted
that Chinese want U.S. president lose election. Why did he start talking like a broken English accent there?
me to lose is because they knew I was wise to them, charged them billions and billions of dollars worth of tariffs, and built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA and NSA reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One email among intelligence analysts admitted that they
But
had...
again, you're trying to say that that was neglectful, that they willfully kept you out of it. Maybe they didn't see it as big of a deal as you're making it now.
quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote, a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who witnessed such efforts perceived the motivations to be blatantly political. Recently, we found significant numbers of burn bags in formation, and this is a group of bags that were used to destroy information given by President Barack Hussein Obama to be burned. It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and checked, but it never happened.
Okay.
Maybe we got lucky. We believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that were supposed to burn the bags. But the findings are stunning. Today I'm asking the office
bags of what, sir? Bags of ballots? They were supposed to burn the bags of what? I lost the plot, guys. What were they burning the bags of again? I voted for SpongeBob. At least you're not throwing your vote away. Jesus Christ.
The Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden, to fire those involved in the cover-up, and to file criminal charges, if appropriate, against these people. Yet concealing China's meddling was only the beginning. The third set of documents we are releasing proves that for many years, Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure, including electronic voting machines and ballot counting systems. Dishonest, almost all. They're vulnerable and they're easily compromised, and people within our government knew that. Tonight, we're publishing a series of previously classified U.S. intelligence community assessments and other reports proving that our government has long known these machines are extremely exposed to attack. As one assessment states,
extremely exposed to attack is not saying that they've been attacked. And that's kind of the difference between the 2020 Supreme Court lawsuit that they dismissed and wouldn't even allow to hear and something like this. Now he's speculating that everyone had the knowledge to understand that you can hack these machines very easily. That, he might be able to win that, but again, like, is it worth the effort of what he's doing here? I think he's going down the wrong rabbit hole. Like, do we really give a shit if China stole the information? Do we really give a shit what happened in 2020 at this point? If you're not showing some founded proof of someone actually going to prison for doing something, it just seems like a lot of effort for the wrong reasons. It seems like the same shit as Joe Biden going and raiding Mar-a-Lago or arresting Roger Stone. Like, it's just, why are we doing this?
Judge that the United States adversaries, including at a minimum Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. That's unquote, but that's some statement, isn't it? Made by supposedly great patriots of our country.
They have the ability.
The document goes on to further state that, quote, we assess that centralized election-related data.
Number 5 better be John Ossoff as a criminal, or I'm out.
Repositories such as voter registration databases, poll books, and other official election websites are most vulnerable to exploitation, and adversaries could use this access to these systems to disrupt election processes within the United States of America. Tonight we're releasing all of those findings, and spanning from January 2020 to June 2026. This is a cyber threat aimed at the very heart of our democracy. Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals or change election results on these terrible machines. Today, we are releasing documents that show the CIA obtained reporting of a
reminder that Elon Musk actually interfered with the Wisconsin elections. I don't
specific
remember that.
plot to
remember
do a big number in favor of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela.
What are we doing?
And that's exactly what happened, conspiring to digitally rig their own country's elections in 2020, and that's what how corrupt our system is, and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets. Great damage has been done to our country. Our elections were left vulnerable, being rigged and stolen.
Would have been better than this.
And the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue. Every American, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, should be able to agree that we deserve the most secure, honest, and fair election system anywhere in the world.
Why are you even arguing?
Secure elections should...
See, Randy's the kind of liberal that likes, like, enjoys watching Donald Trump. Like, when Donald Trump starts failing, I'm like, all right, it's not even, what are we doing here? Randy's over here debating Donald Trump's insane thoughts.
There should be a cause. We should be united, not divided. In light of the brand new and irrefutable information I have revealed tonight, my administration is in the process of notifying the states whose election data was compromised by the People's Republic of China and many others. We will be working closely to mitigate any harm, and
what does that even mean? Action. So you're like, we're going to tell all of the states whose elections were compromised by China, or China got the data. They didn't compromise the election. They got data. And then we're also going to tell many others. What does that mean? What many others? Why don't you just tell all 50 states then? Why don't you just tell us right now? How about that? Just tell us right now. We'll relay the message to anybody not listening.
That
in prime
sensitive
time.
voter data is better protected, so we can never be bought, we can never be hacked, and we can never watch a stolen election again. Tomorrow, the Secretary of Homeland Security will hold a briefing to outline his department's recent work confirming cyber vulnerabilities in our electronic voting systems.
He's got nothing to say?
They are bad. We're in the process of informing governors, senators, and members of Congress of potential issues
the election?
in their
I don't
states.
even know if he's doing that properly.
If you look at voting today, it's in such bad shape in so many states, and we are committing to fix it. And of election security demands that Congress must pass the Save America Act. How easy is that to do? Unless you want to cheat. The only reason you wouldn't do it is you want to cheat.
Did Donald Trump just become Joe Biden in real time in front of all of us? I think I just saw him slipping. Woo!
And your candidates are so.
This is what happens when we keep voting in these old motherfuckers.
Photo, voter ID. All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Are you a citizen of our country, please? And hopefully there will be no corrupt mail-in ballots, which if you watched California and so many other places, mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt. So you would have no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel if you're going away on business or vacation. These reforms are urgently needed to stop the vulnerabilities that I've mentioned. To all Americans, I ask you to pick up your phone tomorrow, call your representatives in the House and Senate, and demand that they pass the Save America Act without
God damn it. The whole thing was an ad, people. The whole thing was just a half an hour advertisement. And he didn't even use Lindsey Graham properly.
America, thank you very much.
Damn, bro. That was it. That was what it was. It was a half an hour ad for the Lindsey Graham bill. And he didn't even use Lindsey Graham for the bill. Bro. All right, let's go back to Mr. JD Vance. That was way more entertaining than whatever the hell was going on there, man. That's so crazy. That was so bad. That was such an L.
Bunch of friends that are stuck
go listen
there
to our new
that
president,
can't
guys.
move.
Let's chill.
Like maybe they have family there, or maybe they have a business there.
Yep.
And they fucking hate it. And then I have a bunch of people that are trying to move, but they can't sell their house. Like it's
15
nuts
minutes
there, man.
16 minutes left of the show. We're gonna continue with JD Vance till the end. 16 minutes left of our show, and JD Vance right now 49%. Gavin Newsom 43%. Is JD Vance on the 70th day of our show and our poll of the day? Is he gonna win his 50th win?
I don't think people, first of all, you get gaslit by Gavin Newsom. I mean, he's just gaslighting everybody about how well, the GDP was like the 5th largest country in the world. That's what California is.
It's like, dude.
Hey, bro, it was like that before you were the governor.
Yeah, exactly. Also, how much does a U-Haul cost if you're leaving California? And
Right.
how much does it cost if you're going to California? Because that's the real measure of whether a state's doing well.
Yeah, the state has more people moving out than moving in, and that has never happened
I'm just
before.
going to ignore that Donald Trump
California's-
isn't even existing anymore. That delusional weirdo just went out there, said whatever he was going to say. Here's the thing. Joe Biden at least had his keepers, so he would come up and just say like the rehearsed speech that like people gave him, and then he'd be done. Donald Trump is like all out on his own being deranged. It's a whole new version of derangement, okay? So let's all just have a little bit of peace and quiet for these 15 minutes. Forget that even happened. Enjoy the fact that we're probably talking to the next president of the United States here by listening to this. And I guarantee you, If we go with JD Vance, guys, we'll be in a better boat than we were in with Trump.
I moved there in 1994 until I left. It was always every year traffic got worse. Every year more people moved there. Every year. And I loved it. I loved it. I loved it from the time I moved there. I was like, this place is great. It's warm all the time. The weather's fantastic. There's so much cool stuff to do. The people are great.
Yeah.
And then politics ruined it.
That's right. So my wife's from Southern California, San Diego. And so we spent a fair amount of time there. And I just, man, I still feel a certain sense of like heartbreak over LA.
Oh, I do
Because
too.
every time I'm in LA, you can see why this was like the quintessentially American city. The architecture is beautiful. It's got its own vibe going. Like you said, the weather is amazing. And then you drive through Skid Row and you're like, how could any state or any city let this happen?
Skid Row is now 55 blocks. It was 50 blocks just like a year or two ago.
Okay, so my first experience with Skid Row was, so Usha used to work at this like very fancy litigation firm in Southern California. Before she was second lady, she was a corporate litigator. So there's a Christmas party in downtown LA, and you get these instructions from her firm, and they're like this really convoluted way of, this is how you have to get to this Christmas party. And I'm like, why do I have to follow these directions? Why don't I just put it in Google Maps, right? This is like 5 or 6, 7 years ago. So we realized that the reason why they gave you these convoluted directions was so that you could avoid Skid Row at night. And so you get to this party, you drive through Skid Row if you follow Google Maps' directions. You get there, and it's like this beautiful facility with like fancy food and fancy wine, and then there are armed guards outside of it and these gigantic walls. And I realized when I was there, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of going to the U.S. Embassy in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Like super security, crazy wealth and privilege and status on the inside, and squalor and misery on the outside.
It is weird, though, to be talking about all of this when you're the president or vice president, I should say, and you're sitting on a national podcast everyone's listening to, and the host is saying it's now 55 blocks long. Why is the federal government not intervening? Why are they letting it fall apart? Maybe California needs a little bit of help here as well. I mean, if it's
outside, like it's the first time I'd ever thought America, like this part of America, is actually more like a third world country than anything that I thought we'd ever become.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Why is it that large population centers, like places like Los Angeles and New York, are almost always run by the Democrats?
Yeah.
Like, what is it about? First of all, what happened with the last election in Los Angeles, the primary, I think was
crazy.
So super sus.
Yes,
and
it
here's
is.
why it's super sus. Not just super sus that Spencer Pratt, who was in second place.
And that's what I mean, is like, that's the kind of stuff we need to stick with, and we need to stick with it on the back end. He should have come out, told us about fucking Iran and what the fuck's going on with the war, told us about the Trump accounts, and then just drop some shit where he goes, we're investigating all these things, and in reality, guys, we need to just have all elections be on the day of the election. Whether I'm wrong or I'm right, there are millions of people that feel just like I do, and if you start making the elections happen on the day of, then we don't have this problem. And people can fight that, but that's a policy measure that can actually end the skepticism. It almost feels like you're trying to feed the same system. You're trying to now win people over by thinking everything is fake. Oh, well, you got to vote for the Republicans because the Democrats are going to try to keep it fake. Are you not also part of the problem then if you're not trying to stop it? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
got overtaken by Nithya Raman in the mail-in ballots. But that the mail-in ballots also passed a tax hike. The people voted to pay more taxes.
Yep.
In a state where you have the highest
taxes. That's right.
They're like, we don't pay enough. That is insane. Then when you have direct evidence that they were recruiting homeless people.
That's right.
And they were getting homeless people and giving them cigarettes and cash. There's evidence of this. to use their address and mail in ballots.
Yeah, I would be the Californian Joe who wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, I'm going to go and vote for higher taxes.
I don't pay enough.
They're going to make the official election take place on Polymarket, sponsored by Steak. Pretty much.
I feel like we could fix this if I just pay 5 more percent.
I would laugh if it was a joke, but I don't think it's a joke, Taco Bell Wi-Fi. I don't think it's a joke. I think it's real. I think we really gonna go towards like Polymarket decides the next election.
The crazy thing about it too is
money decides, because that's the only way we can
after
figure
the
this
initial
out.
ballots all came in, it was Karen Bass was number 1, Spencer Pratt was right behind her, and then number 3, whatever this woman's name is.
It's not impossible. It literally happened. Like, you can still declare a victor. Not since the 2000 election did you not declare a victor for a national election on election night. That was the only stipulation where that even existed until Donald Trump. The day that they announced the election in 2016, they realized that every election after that, they need to strategically strategize whether they want to give away their power as the media, which is deciding who actually wins. Because the votes don't decide who wins on election night. The media does. And the media was fine being unbiased and doing so every single time until Donald Trump. Once Donald Trump and they did it, they go, well, we can't do that again. You guys should have held the election. You should have made him count more for Hillary. And then that's what they started doing. And they've been doing it for 10 years now. And it's getting really bad.
Okay, so you would expect the mail-in ballots to be more or less like the original ballots in terms of 1, 2, and 3. I'm not saying Spencer Pratt's going to win the mail-in ballots, but it just so happened that the third place person in relative terms did a lot better than the first and second place person.
Disproportionately better.
Such that the Republican was actually kicked out of the race so that there's not actually a real election in California. That, to me, was the crazy part. It's like you were designing the vote share in order to kick Pratt out and put the third person into second place. That, to me, is like very, very bizarre. Because what is the theory of the mail-in vote that is somehow like so much?
Yeah, again, so you're going to say that everyone that... Okay, mail-in votes are real. They're all real. There's no messing around with them. Why would everyone vote for Cynthia over the current mayor and Pratt when no one in any other district had even done either?
Much more pro-Nithya relative to Karen Bass.
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
The media only announces who won after they get confirmation from the voting districts. Yeah, kind of like that confirmation on that Saturday morning in 2020 that the Associated Press had, right? What confirmation are you talking about? They decide. They decide. There's no confirmation. They're not confirming shit. They're writing on cocktail napkins and having people sitting in every single district. And we're still living in the 1700s with our voting patterns as we're in 2026.
Makes no sense. Why would it be?
Yeah.
Why would it be? I mean, Karen.
So there's more legitimacy to my poll of the day than there is election integrity in America, because I know, and so do all of you, that you can only vote one per YouTube account. And a YouTube account, you have to have a Google verified account to it, which most of the time means you either have a two-step verification with a phone number or a secondary faked phone number with it. It takes 15 to 20 minutes through a humanoid verification process even to build out a new Gmail/YouTube account. So everyone that's on this literal page right now voting for President of the United States has more election integrity and security in the poll of the day than we do actually voting for the President of the United States. And when I hit this end button in 5 minutes and I end my show, we're going to know who won right then. Because the votes are counted as you vote. How is this unable to... This can happen on a multi-million scale. Like, if I was Mr. Beast, I could still have a legitimate IP, username access only, Google, YouTube only voting, knowing how many accounts actually voted, and hitting end and knowing the result. But we're still going to try to make an argument that we can't do this in 24 hours for an actual election. We can't actually have something count the votes as people vote. Huh? It's right in front of you. We have 4 minutes left of the show. Double tap, get your vote in. Tell us what you're voting for in the comment section. But more integrity in this poll than there is in U.S. elections? Like, why? And it seems like both sides kind of want to play the game on it.
Karen Bass was ahead by every metric.
Yeah. But, I mean, okay, so you asked the question, why do all these blue states, or why do all these big cities, population centers, end up becoming blue? And I think it's like a very complicated, right? So one thing, and you said this a few months ago, and like when you said it, I was like kind of annoyed by it, but then I like thought, there's like an element of truth to it, which is that Republicans still fundamentally have a cool problem, right? There's something more charismatic, more cool about the Democrats as opposed to the right.
Did I say
and
that?
So you said something about there are too many dorks or something on the right.
There's a lot of dorks.
You know, fair. I'd say there's a lot of dorks
There's
on the left.
a lot of dorks on the left, too. It's a different kind of dork.
It's a different kind of dork. But the point is that there's something, like, okay, if you're a pop star, you're a rock star, you're an actor, you're in all these cultural centers, you're more likely to be left than right.
That's what I mean. Like, and in 2016, they realized they didn't have to call the election for Trump, but they did anyway, because they were under the principles of just like being an American media institution and being honest. But the second that he won, everything became retabulated to, why did SNL allow him on stage in December? Why did they give him media coverage? Why didn't you give her more media coverage? Why did you report that he won that night? You turned the truth of your job as a journalist and as a media person into a tool that you can use for political manipulation. And they have been using it for 10 years. They have literally been doing that for 10 years. The people at the Associated Press debunked Donald Trump's speech before Donald Trump said his speech. Did Donald Trump say anything in the speech? No. But why is the AP debunking it if they're the people that are giving us the facts, the certification that Joe Biden's the winner of that election?
So I think that a lot of young people who are
You're
attracted
ruining
to
your
these
own,
population
like,
centers,
just stay out of
they
it,
sort
guys.
of move along with the prevailing
Just
culture.
do
I think
your
that's,
job.
that's one thing that's going on. I think a second thing that's going on is the people who are sort of attracted to a certain kind of right of center politics. They want the suburbs, they want the single family home, they kind of want to be left alone, they don't want sort of to be able to hear what their neighbors are doing. So I think a little bit of it's just cultural self-segregation, and that's meant that a lot of these population centers have gone blue. But it's very complicated. I've thought about this a lot, and I also just, man,
It seems
I'm
like
not
there's
one of
just
these
more
people who
corruption
says we
than
should just
anything.
abandon California to the Democrats, like let them deal with their own problems. I think California is like a quintessential part of the American dream. Like if you just abandon California, you've like lost something very core to American culture. And I don't want to give up on it. Like I'm not saying we're going to win California in my lifetime necessarily, but I don't like the idea
he
of
wins
giving up on it.
California.
Well, it's not just giving up on. I mean, giving up on it would be terrible. It's an awesome state. The real problem is it's deeply corrupt.
Yes.
I mean, deeply
That's what I really
corrupt.
think
And
it's
what they're
getting at
trying to
is
do
the
is
same
make it
as me, too.
impossible for the other side to win.
impossible to even
And there
come
should be
in.
laws against that.
Yeah, exactly. Like Spencer Pratt should be in that election against the mayor because that is the competition. The fact that the other lady is even running and she's running on the same exact policies as the current mayor and somehow winning an astronomical mail-in vote over both the other candidates to push the opposing candidate of the sitting mayor out so that your only options in November are my mayor or the Indian version of my mayor. It's bizarre. Like, wouldn't you, if you were living in LA, at least want Spencer Pratt to lose to Karen Bass? Why would you want to win to Cynthia? You know that she's not, that it's not real. It's the same kind of shit Putin does. Like, you get rid of Alexander, and then you put somebody up in his place, that can't win the election against you, and then you say, Putin won another election.
First of all, the idea of mail-in ballots for anybody other than people who are invalids, who can't leave their homes, or military, or people that, for some reason, they're serving overseas.
I kind of agree with that because I used the mail-in ballot abusingly a lot. I lived in New York, and I would fly home, and I would do a mail-in ballot to Chicago, and I don't think that you should be able to vote absentee like that. No, I think that it should be more regulated, and it's not. But that's our poll of the day, guys. That's our show for today. Daddy Trump had like literally nothing to say there. That was all hype, no action. Damn. Feel like I just had really bad sex, guys. But JD Vance does win his 50th win of our poll of the day. We have now been doing our poll for 70 days in a row, guys. Continuing down the road of doing this every day for 845 more days. Sometimes I might miss a weekend or a day or two or something, but I'm going to be with you till the very end. We'll see if JD Vance continues down this path. Make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send people into the algorithm. Go check out the videos, the highlights. If you like mobile videos, I got a bunch of those. If you like regular videos, I got highlights of those. I do regular live streams every other day. I do mobile-only live streams every other day. We do video games at night. I might play some Assassin's Creed, The Tyranny of George Washington or King Washington tonight, which is a plot where you have to remove King Washington in a alternative history. You have to, save America in the Revolution as a Native American because George Washington became a king instead. What happens if George Washington becomes a king? So I'll be doing part 2 of that, chapter 2 of that in probably 15, 20 minutes here or so. Thank you guys so much for the support, for jumping into the channel, for everything, all of that. Appreciate it. I just got demonetized from Facebook today, so that really sucked. Not anything I did, just sending in an appeals process for somebody claiming a video that I clearly own the rights to. But no complaining from me, just another unemployed guy with only one source of income, YouTube monetization. Appreciate you all, and maybe, drop me a super like or a super chat or something if you're feeling like feeding the homeless today. If not, I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye! Peace!